On tonight's episode of the Gamecasters, we talk about some new games we've played, introduce a new segment to the show, play a game, and do our top 5 gateway games. Stay tuned. Gamers, and welcome to episode 32 of the Gamecasters. I'm your host, Ryan.
And Natalie.
I'm Jeff, the Mad Board Gamer.
We have a great show lined up for you guys this week, chock full of random thoughts spewing forth from our mouths, jokes that are probably only funny to us, right?
Right.
I'm sure. And thoughts on board games that probably only appeal to a small number of you. On with the show. Jeff, what's up, man?
What's
How was your
up?
holiday? What have you been up to lately? Have you been watching any shows about people trying to find out who murdered kittens?
Yes, I have. I wrote that down. It's on my sheet. It says, don't F with cats.
I thought it might be. Let's hear about it, man.
It's awesome. Well, first of all, so I'm a teacher. I had 2 weeks off, which has been incredible because I had 2 weeks off with my wife, Devin, as well as Jack, baby Jack.
So a while ago, you were thinking possibly, this was a few years ago, about maybe potentially switching careers. And
Yes.
I think this has got to be one of the best reasons not to. You guys both have the same time off together.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And looking forward to like when Jack's in school and he's going to have the same time off and for us to be able to spend that time together, I think is going to be awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So this was very, very cool Christmas break. It was also Jack's first Christmas. So that was awesome. But we did spend a lot of time on the couch watching Netflix, and it was awesome. We watched Don't F with Cats.
Yeah, what is Don't F with Cats?
You didn't watch it.
No, you
It's
told me
so
about it.
good.
We talked about it with Frankie and Kyle.
Okay, I was
Natalie,
like,
it's
I've
that
heard
same
this.
Frankie and Kyle watched it or no?
I think they couldn't because Frankie
Okay.
is she's very big into animal rights, animal activism. I mean, as I'm sure we all are.
This is positive in that right?
But
Yeah.
they show. Apparently, they show some
right
of the
up
video
to-
right up to the point where this happens, and then
Sure.
she sees it in her brain, and she's like, it's going to happen."
Okay.
And that
Yeah.
it's upsetting to her.
Yeah. So
Which I
the
think
show
would be
is
amazing.
cool.
Maybe Kyle watched it.
It's only 3 episodes, 3 or 4, but it's this person, this like just disgusting sicko, puts this video online of him like killing a cat, and then there's this
Aren't they
outrage.
kittens?
Yeah, there's this like
God.
outrage on social media and on YouTube that these people are now trying to find this guy.
Good.
By looking at like tiny little clues, like where could they have bought that vacuum or this dresser? What's this doorknob? Are they in this country? And like trying to figure out where this person is and hunt this person down.
It's like Exit.
It takes some cool turns, so I don't want to like spoil anything, but it's good.
crazy.
We also watched the show You.
Yeah, you
Oh,
told me
I
about
wanted
that.
to watch that.
It's
Is it
it's
good?
like it's a not as good version of Dexter.
Okay.
But it's about this guy who kind of stalks these like women. So if you like weird kind of sociopath
Women stalkery guys.
women
I like
that
stalkery dudes.
actor.
But yeah, I think a lot of people like the show. It came back for season 2, so Devin wanted to catch up. So we watched season 1 and then watched season 2. We've been watching some like Confession Killer. We watched some
okay, I've
like,
heard of that one.
Yeah, that was where this guy confesses to like hundreds of murders and he didn't really do any of these.
Or he might not have.
He
or-
probably didn't do a lot of
probably
these.
What?
Yeah, it was. So we watched a lot of
Weirdos out
that.
there.
We're watching 30 Rock. We finished.
Are you
season
going through that
6
again?
of 30 Rock.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're cruising through that. But yeah, we
watching
watched
The
a
Office
ton.
for the 800th time.
Yep.
So good. Yeah, we were just couch
Sweet.
You
potatoes for a
also
lot of
watched
break.
The Watchmen or Watchmen.
Oh,
Do you like it?
we could talk about that for hours.
Okay.
it was
Oh,
you
so
watched it
good.
too?
I thought it was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved
It
it.
took me a while to get into it. The first couple episodes, I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm just not really into it. And then I got into it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was good.
It was
Did you
good.
read the graphic novel?
Yes.
I thought so.
yeah. I have it. If you want to borrow it.
Yeah, I do. Does it
that-
follow the series pretty
No.
closely?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
No, it's
So
very,
is
very
the movie
different.
the one that's closer to the
Nope.
to the? Oh,
Both of those things. The movie and the graphic novel are much closer, and this is like in the same world, but a very different.
Is the squid
like-
in the graphic novel?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, okay.
Someone's gonna like call us out and be like, "Yes, it is. It's on
Yeah,
page
probably.
13."
No, it's okay.
Yeah, I
No
don't
one
believe.
listens to
No,
it.
I don't think that is. It follows a very different group. Dr. Manhattan is in the graphic novel, but it's not like police force. It's not that kind of
Oh,
story arc.
really?
Night
Yeah.
Sister or whatever.
Right.
it was.
But it's
I thought it was cool.
yes, I
Yeah.
loved it.
I really
liked it a
liked the
lot.
guy. There was this one particular episode that I really liked because I had the guy from Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Yeah, Looking Glass.
Looking
The
Glass.
episode
Oh,
about
yeah.
him
That
and his
guy.
background.
That guy. What a great actor that guy is. I was
Yeah.
really. That was a compelling. That was the episode that got me. I was like, okay, I got to watch the rest now. This
Okay.
is fantastic.
Yeah, there
So,
were a few. The
cool
flashback episode, I loved a lot of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, we'll talk about that off show.
yeah.
Watch The Watchmen. That's what channel
HBO.
is that? HBO.
HBO.
Yeah. Okay. So
Very
that's
good.
it's pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was nice. All right. So I've been into this YouTube series lately. I've been watching a lot of YouTube.
Oh.
So, all right, I watch a lot of people react on YouTube. There's these two guys, Alex and Andy, they react. They're like these young college kids, and they just react to classic rock videos or in songs. And I can't stop watching
Is it just hilarious?
Nope.
Nope. They're
No.
just like...
It's like
just
these
like-
kids who've never heard these classic rock songs.
just you would
and you
like-
listen to it and you just watch how they
They're like,
react.
today we're going to listen to this song called Stairway to Heaven. And I'm like, what? You don't know
And they don't know it?
And then they listen to like, this is pretty good. Right? It's just really cool.
That's cool.
And then there's the other one I watch. It's these two African-American guys. And it's cool because they react to like heavy metal. Mm-hmm. And so that one is awesome just because of the juxtaposition between their musical tastes. And then they're basically going completely outside of themselves to react to, this music that they probably would never have listened to and hadn't listened to. And then hearing their thoughts on it. They'll listen to Enter Sandman, for instance, they'd never heard before. And they're like, this isn't my type of music, but I can completely understand why I love it and why everyone else loves it and how great it is. And then they start getting appreciated. And so I've been watching a lot of that stuff, and that's pretty interesting. But the main one I wanted to talk about today is I'm watching this guy named Davey504. Have you heard of this guy?
Davey504.
Yeah,
Nope.
you probably haven't. He just showed up one day on my... You know how you go into YouTube Home and then there's just random
Yeah.
videos? So it's this guy, he just plays the bass guitar. He's a bass player.
He's Italian.
His name is Davey504. Like I said, he doesn't need this plug right now because he has like 5 million subscribers
Yeah.
on YouTube.
Maybe he'll give us a shout out then. So once we give him one, no,
Yeah, right. Slap like now. So, okay. His videos are hilarious. Okay, basically, it's just the way he talks and how he edits his videos. Like Natalie said, he's an Italian guy. He's an incredible bass player. He's really funny. He just has catchphrases. Like, so he plays the bass and he's like, it's slap bass, and so he is always like, slap like now on my video. And he talks like that. And he says, what? An OMG. All the time. And those are just stupid, nondescript phrases. But you just got to watch it.
Yeah.
I think it's
it is
funny.
funny.
It, for some reason, I don't know, it cracks me up. So he goes on this
5
website.
million subscribers. That's
I know.
insane.
He makes millions of dollars.
Man.
Just doing videos.
Yeah.
I want to do that.
But so his videos
I
are
don't have
like,
that kind of talent.
he'll go on this website called Fiverr. And Fiverr is this website where you can basically buy services of musicians. So say I'm a singer and I don't have the drums and I don't have a drummer, but I want a drum track for this song that I'm singing. I will go onto this website, Fiverr, and say, hey, I'm looking for a drum track for this vocal, and I'll upload the vocal. And then people will come, I can basically, like some guy will be like, I'll put a drum track to your song for $50. And so then I can pay the guy, and then he'll give me a drum track, and
Cool. It's like an open market.
yeah, it's like right, exactly.
Cool.
So this Davey504 goes on to this website, and he'll basically say, create for me the greatest bass line solo ever. I'll pay you. And so people respond like, I'll do it for $100. And so he like buys them. And so like he gets like 10 of them. He pays a ton of money. He's a millionaire. Who cares?
Yeah.
And then he goes through and reacts to all of them on his video. And then at the very end, he plays one. And it's just so funny and entertaining and cool. And I understand it's really probably weird, but check it out. Davey504.
All these
Davey.
are weird. You watch people react to songs.
YouTube is crazy, man.
But it
YouTube's
is-
crazy.
I thought it was weird, and then I watched it too, and I was like, okay, I can see why people find this entertaining.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I feel like a lot of these videos that people like Davey504 or the MXR plays that we watch, it's just people reacting to like a bunch of different things going on. Like they'll go to Reddit and just read something, and then they'll go to YouTube and watch something, and then so it's like they're not talking about one thing for too long. They talk about 100 different things over and over
Yeah,
again.
so it
and
never
peop-
gets boring.
Yeah, so it never gets boring.
And also, they all have decent personalities, so it's not like lame.
Yeah. So also,
Cool.
what did we do last night? No, yesterday. What did we do yesterday?
We saw Cirque du Soleil.
Whoa.
Axel
So it's called
on
Axel.
ice.
Natalie's dad bought tickets for him, us, and Natalie's sister Frankie and her husband Kyle it was like our Christmas
Christmas
gift.
present,
Okay. It was called Axel. It was on ice, hence Axel, like triple axle, right? It was basically Cirque du Soleil capades. You know what I mean? Because it was on. We've never seen Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah.
All we knew about it was
It's like acrobatics and stuff.
yeah, acrobatics. It was impressive. I did wonder as I was watching it, and this is not to begrudge Cirque du Soleil, but I was like, why does this exist? Like, what is going on?
mostly
It's like
for, like,
incomprehensible nothingness with weird acrobatics. I mean, the acrobatics
Yeah.
were really
Oh,
impressive.
yeah. A lot of
But
it
I
was really
felt like-
impressive. Except,
It's an interpretive art.
yes,
Yeah.
it's definitely
Right? It's an art
interpretive
form.
because there was no talking. I mean, the only talking was like if they sang a song or something, but like the light show that was shown on the ice was amazing. Like the acrobatics and stuff was so awesome.
It was weird though.
It was, and there was so many cool things, but the storyline, what?
Yeah, okay, so it was
could
about
not follow,
the
like,
Riddler,
what is happening?
and he steals this chick's mojo, and
all
then
made up by
Enrique
Ryan.
Iglesias and Homelander have to steal it back, and eventually do.
Yeah, we didn't really get the story, but it was very entertaining. We never felt like, oh, is this over yet? Like, we're like, oh, this is interesting.
Well, because just in the middle, some guy just takes a ladder and climbs up it, but the ladder's not attached to anything, but he's climbing up this ladder and standing on it with one hand at the very top, and you think any second he's going to fall off and kill himself, and then every single one of us in the audience is going to have a terrible, horrible, witness like this life-altering trauma, like as Owen Hart's,
but he didn't.
Down from thing.
Owen Hart.
I know that's sad.
Is it too
but
soon?
You know what
No,
I mean?
it's been a long time.
But that's like it's like there's like this. It's like on the razor's edge of the most impressive thing you've ever seen, because it was, and this
Scary.
could end horribly for all of us.
It gave Ryan some anxiety.
Yeah, I felt like my hands were glued to my cheeks.
Yeah.
Like,
He
oh
was
god, oh geez, oh
Lots
no.
of gasps.
But I almost feel like Cirque du Soleil exists as a vehicle to experience mushrooms.
Well, that's what they did
Because-
in Knocked Up, right? The movie where they had the mushrooms and they were in the.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that what they did?
Exactly what
So it's
happened.
exactly okay. There you go. It's like you want to be high when you see this thing or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's just like a cool art form. It's like a lot of it's interpretive. I know there is some story behind some of them.
You're right.
But they're very
thin.
like, you have to like go, all right, are they meeting? What are they kind of doing? Or I'm just like completely ignorant to like the arts. And I feel like other people would be like, of course it's this. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
right.
well, I don't know what it means.
Yeah.
You
I have seen a handful. I've saw 4 of them. I've seen
Oh,
4. I just
wow.
made my list of Cirque du Soleil that I've seen.
Really?
Yeah, because I've been to Vegas. And whenever I go to Vegas,
they
we go
have
to
like
one. They have the
a residency in
Cirque,
Vegas
yeah.
or
And I
something?
think that ice one might be the one that goes next because Cirque du Soleil does a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
there's a lot of
There's like
them.
themes. So
Isn't there,
I've
like,
seen
a Michael Jackson one.
I've seen the Michael Jackson one, which was awesome, and that one's obviously themed around his music.
Yep.
They
Yeah.
do like acrobat stuff to his music. They do the same thing for the Beatles, which I saw the one for the Beatles,
That's cool.
which is called Love, and then the other 2, which was probably more like Axel, which was Ka, and I saw O, which is O is the underwater one. Where everything like
sounds
takes
cool.
place underwater, and you can see the tank is like see through, so you can
So
see
they're
them,
swimming
like,
and
diving
stuff
down.
and doing stuff.
Yeah, it's very cool.
There was
a cool thing.
some music in this that you would recognize. You know, like they did
It was
Mad
more like a
World,
rock
they did Creep by
theme.
Radiohead.
There was like a lot. There was like guitar and drums.
well,
and,
the guitarist was like Slash. You know, so I thought maybe
yeah.
Axl was also kind of like an Axl
right.
Rose, Guns N' Roses type thing.
Yeah.
Although they didn't play any Guns N' Roses songs. But
they also played a Rihanna song at the end.
yeah, the
We were like,
Diamonds one.
oh.
But listen to this, dude. That's not even. So that was cool. All right, there was,
was
some.
cool.
It was really
It
impressive.
was at Little
but-
Caesars Arena too, which we've never been there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was pretty
LCA.
nice going to the going to the LCA. So we learned some interesting things about Natalie's dad. So we're driving in the car on the way to the show, and somehow we got to talking about some dude who was like super ugly. I don't remember why we were talking about this, but it doesn't matter. Yeah, I don't remember. But then Natalie's dad's just like, okay, well, why don't we talk about some dudes that are super attractive? He's not gay, right? Not that we know of. And I was like, oh, okay. How about you start? And before I finished my sentence, he's like, Enrique Iglesias and George Michaels and Ricky Martin. I'm
He
like,
called him
George
George
Michaels?
Michaels.
George Michaels,
And, like,
multiple.
Well, first he's like Enrique Iglesias, and we were like, really?
And he's like, Ricky Martin.
Ricky
I was
Martin.
like,
And
you
we're
got
like,
a Latino thing,
dude.
don't you?
yeah,
He's like, well, I also like George Michaels.
George Michaels
But boom.
from Arrested Development.
Boom, he had those ready to rock. So I'm going to make him a mix, I think, next time I see him. And it's going to be Bailamos, Hero, Livin' La Vida Loca, and Wake Me Up Before You Go.
I think that's perfect. It's a good list. Just
Wait,
those.
And I'm going to
What
run
about-
away because he's going to be very turned on.
Yeah,
You got to add faith in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll like.
that's funny.
So then we started talking about dog food because Frankie and Kyle were talking about
Their dog.
what they feed their dog.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's
they
got,
feed
like,
their dog bits
allergies.
of wild boar.
Well, they feed him
What?
squid, and they
No. They used to feed him squid.
Well, yeah, they just switched to boar because he's got allergies, and like depending, he has to eat certain food, or else it'll like. His
Yeah, they
skin
might
will
have to go back
react.
to squids because feeding him the wild boar, he might be allergic to the dust in the wild boar's bones that might be in the
Or the
food,
ash
right?
in
Is that what it
his
is? Or the
bones?
ash or something that's from the bones?
don't know.
It's crazy. But then so Natalie's dad starts talking about how disgusting the squid smell was in the dog food. And he's like, oh, but it's nothing like cat food, which smells amazing. And we were like,
Man.
okay. And he's like,
What?
And he's like, yeah, but don't try it because it doesn't taste as good as it smells. Implying that
Yeah,
he had
he's
some.
eating them.
And so we,
He's eating it, yep.
we're like, so did you eat? He's like, well, yeah, I had to. And we're like, what do you mean you had to? He's like, well, it smelled so good.
Whoa.
He's like, it smelled amazing.
Does your dad listen to this podcast?
No, but I did tell him we were going to do this.
Okay.
So then later,
Ryan's just writing down notes after everything he said.
Eventually we'll get to board games, I promise.
Okay, I got to do this. Oh my God. So then later, we started talking about how drunk he was at the Christmas party, at the family Christmas party, and Frankie and Kyle, and they were laughing because they said that all he was doing was farting nonstop, very loudly, and often. He, of course, does not remember that at all. So here's to you, Tommy Pop. We love you.
You're the best.
Isn't that crazy?
Perfect.
Oh my gosh. What else you got, Jeff?
Should we talk about board games? I did get a board game for Christmas.
What'd you get?
I got Euphoria by Stonemeyer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, right. You got that from your brother.
Yes. So my brothers and I, we do this a board game exchange where the three of us go shopping at the exact same time to the exact same place, and we buy each other a board game.
And don't let each other open it till Christmas.
Yes, and then we take that board game home, wrap it, and then give it to the person.
So did you
they
get it
know.
from Donkey Kong or from Deepwater?
I got it from Joe, from Deepwater Joe.
Deepwater.
And Joe got me Euphoria. I got Dave, The Ancient World.
Right, Ryan Lockett.
Yep, the second edition. And then Dave got Joe CO2.
Oh,
which
cool.
you guys have talked about and we've played.
Yeah.
It was awesome,
right.
so I'm
Great
excited
game.
to
Fantastic game.
to play that. He did get his boxes all like
dinged up
and messed up, so that would have annoyed me. I think it's
From
annoying me
RIW?
more than There was like a dent on the outside that we thought like, okay, well, it's just a little bit, and then he opened it up and so the box kind of messed up. So I think that might bother me more than it bothers him, but
Yeah.
I think it did bother him
that's
a little bit.
bummer.
But yeah, so I got a new game, so I'm excited to play that. It came with like game trays. So again, we talk about my pet peeves. These are like, this is falling into not my pet peeve.
Yeah.
Like game trays are like
did it
perfect.
right.
Everything
Things you
fits in there
love.
perfectly.
Yeah. Stonemeyer listened to you 10 years ago when that was
Yes,
released.
thank you, Stonemeyer. Going back in time.
Yeah.
Got a gift card to the local game store, so I'll be
Oh, sweet.
endless
Getting some more
possibilities. I can
stuff?
buy whatever I want.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yes.
I got the newest expansion for Mansions of Madness.
Oh, excellent.
Yep. I also got Aftermath, the new game
Where is
from
it?
Plaid Hat.
I'm taking it before I
over
It's
there,
on the
way at
very
the end. Way at the end of there.
Dave Madigan, my brother, really wants that one.
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
Maybe we'll do
Donkey
that at
Kong.
Nerd
He wants
Festival.
that
Maybe that'll be a Nerd
badly.
Festival one.
So
And what else did I get? I got one more thing. I got
Star Wars Destiny.
Yeah, Star Wars Destiny. I got some new stuff for Star Wars Destiny. Ever heard of that game?
good segue.
Always got to find a way to bring it up.
Yeah.
So what I also got my kids for Christmas, and we can launch into some games we've been playing, unless you have anything else you wanted to hit.
Well, that's cool.
Is we've been playing. Do you remember the game Crossfire?
Yes.
You'll get caught up in the
Crossfire.
You'll get caught up in the. So all right, it's this game, and if anyone was not a child of the '90s, it's basically this plastic board, and on either side of it, there's like two like guns, and you put marbles in the top, and you're just shooting these marbles out of these guns onto the board, and in the middle of the board, there's like a plastic star or even a triangle, and it's got a marble in the middle, and so you're hitting this thing with the marbles that come out of the guns, trying to get that star or triangle, there's two of them, into the other person's like
Their
there's
side,
a little
right?
embankment
Yeah.
on their side, and if you do, you win, and it's just hilarious and fun, and you got to keep refilling the marbles in there, and like So I bought it for. I'm sorry, I didn't buy it. Cameron got it for Christmas.
Yeah.
Right. Cameron got it for Christmas from your dad, I think. And so we busted it open and played it like crazy, and it's just as fun as you remember,
Awesome.
dude. It is
That's
so
cool.
great. We should play it after the show, just like real quick. I
right.
should bring it to Nerdfest.
Yeah.
And we'll do a tournament.
Have a Crossfire tournament. Yeah.
It was so fun. So that's Crossfire. You can get it at Target now. So I think it's a Hasbro game. But yeah, we found it at Target. I was like, oh my
Nice.
gosh, my childhood in a box.
Real quick, from my childhood, for all the girls who grew up in the 90s, I got Lexi Pretty Pretty Princess
Ooh.
game, which is basically you just go around and put on jewelry.
Is that all that you do? You just roll a die and put on
you have like a color, like let's say I'm purple.
Yeah.
And so you roll a die and you go around the board, and if you land on like bracelet, then you put on the purple bracelet. If you land on ring, then you put on the purple ring, and there's only one crown, so the crown gets passed around. There's also a black ring, which if you have the black ring on, you can't win.
necrotic power.
So basically the goal is have all of your jewelry of your color on you, plus the crown, and not have the black ring, and then you win.
Wow.
And Lexi loved it.
She did. Well,
bet.
she gets to put
Yeah, I
on
bet.
jewelry.
So-
And she won like every time, I thought.
Yeah, she
Pretty
did.
much.
Of course she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. Jeff, what about you, man? What have you been up to? Playing
What have I
wise?
been up to? I got a Kickstarter, and it's called Wavelength,
Yeah,
which
we
you
got
guys
it too.
got also.
Oh, yeah.
And
We were
It's-
pumped about this the second
yes.
we kickstarted it.
Excited.
as soon as we kickstarted it, we were excited. We got to demo it at this past Gen Con.
Wolfgang Varsh.
We were even more
with the
excited.
Varsh. Yes. Palm Court Publishing, which I've never heard of.
No, me neither.
I just kind of looked it up because I don't even see the logo on the box.
Oh.
But I had to look it up. But yes, Wolfgang Warsch.
Even the box looks awesome.
The box is awesome.
It's so cool.
I already have 8 logged plays of it.
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'm like cruising.
Sweet.
Because the past couple Mondays we played it, we have like 20, 25 minutes left and we play it a few times.
Oh, wow. Oh,
So
you're playing it at game nights. Oh, nice.
Yes,
That's
and
awesome.
everybody loves it, so it's great. So what it is everything's played in the box, which is kind of cool, and the box comes with this plastic circle-looking thing.
Yeah.
And half of it is so you have this half wedge that opens up with this screen, so the screen can close it and it hides the wedge and it opens it up. And inside the half circle, there's a small sliver of the circle that has points on it, so it's like 2, 3, 4 points. And what you do is you close the wedge and you hold it in front of you and you pick a card, and the cards are like polar opposites. So it's like hot and cold,
Right.
or unpopular movie and popular movie. And you pick a side and you put it in there and you spin this dial, and the dial moves that point wedge around the half circle. And once you do that, you unveil it to yourself, you look at your card, and you create a clue that gets your team to pick where on the half circle they believe your clue fits.
If it's
That
me, the
makes
clue
sense?
is horrible.
Yeah.
You're
So,
explaining this fantastic.
it's difficult to explain.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know.
hard to
I was like,
we'll
sitting back,
see.
like, how's he going to do this?
Oh gosh, we'll see. I know. So, so then you turn it to your team, and you give the clue. So if it's hot and cold, and you said something like,
Coffee.
yeah, you said coffee, let's say. So then your team has to decide, and they turn this little arrow, this little dial that points to, all right, it's not the hottest thing in the world, but it's not cold. So where would it be on the hot side?
But then they're like, well, iced coffee's cold. Because you mean iced coffee?
Yeah, and then
Probably
so there's
not.
this
I don't
debate,
know.
and
Yeah.
then once they decide, the other team gets to put a little token on one side of the board that says if they think it's closer to the hot or closer to cold, or one side or the other. And then the big reveal where you hit the little shade, and the shade pops open, and you see whether or not you've gotten points or whether the other team gets points, and it's great.
I don't know if that made sense to any of you. It made sense to us because we played the game.
True. So you have to let me know if it makes any sense at all.
Trust us, it's great.
It's
It's
really
great. It
fun.
fits if your group loves code names and you enjoy that code name feel. This gives me the same sort of satisfaction code names did when I first played code
Yep,
names.
it is very Codenames like. Check
Yeah.
out a video. Go look on Board Game Geek for Wavelength. There's a how
Yeah.
to play video. And I thought Jeff did a fantastic job explaining that, but if you didn't understand that for whatever reason, go and watch it.
Because it wasn't good.
No,
I know, it was weird,
Just in
'cause
case.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, until I got it, I was like, I don't really know exactly what you're doing. Because, I mean, essentially, you're just trying to pick. Okay, I say coffee is to the right of the center between hot and cold. And so that's what I'm going to put it. And now I have to hope that my teammates also think that's where coffee would go.
Yeah.
And so then they decide, okay, I think it's a little bit to the left. And then we reveal it, and they see, oh, Ryan had it to the right, so we don't get any points. And that's the thing, just like Codenames, that happens in this game a lot, where, especially if I'm giving the clue in Wavelength, I'm bad. I'm not very good at it. What I think these things are is not what the group
Yep.
thinks.
Yeah.
Sure.
You
Well,
know?
that's the fun part about it, and that's why it's called Wavelength. You're trying to get
Yeah,
it
you're
be
not
on the
same wavelength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very, very Codenames-esque.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed by the Varsh. The production might be
yeah.
one of the
It's
coolest
nice.
things about
It's
it.
good.
Because like Jeff said, you play it out of the box. There's no setup at all. You take the box cover off, you lift this like circle thing that you're basically playing on, and stick it into the box, and then you just put a card into the box, and that's it. And you
Yeah.
go. You just turn the box to people, and
And I was really nervous because there's a lot of moving pieces. Because you're moving the dial, you're moving the wheel that spins the wedge, you're opening and closing the shade.
You're worried it would wear
I was
out.
worried. I'm still worried
Yeah,
of how
throw
it's
some
going to
shade.
hold up, but it feels
Feels very sturdy.
It feels
Yeah.
nice.
yeah, it feels
It's
hardy.
not flimsy at all.
Plus, I mean, okay, in the rare instance that, we play this thing hundreds of times and it finally breaks, it's not going to break the bank to buy a new copy.
That's true.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I think it's going to hold up long enough. It's a great game.
Yeah.
It is great. My favorite part about it is like the justification of your clue, or the
Yep.
people discussing where they think it should go, and it's just interesting how different they think.
I'll give
And
you a
it's
for
really
instance.
funny.
This is a terrible one for me, but I'll give you a for instance.
Okay.
So we had the clue. What was the card? Yeah.
Harmful,
The card
not
was harmful, not harmful. And I just, all right, admittedly, I didn't think about it too hard. I just said caffeine. And I put it to the unharmful
It was like
side.
almost all the way to the not harmful side.
So here's what I was thinking when I did that. I was thinking like you drink some caffeine, doesn't do anything to you, but make you a little bit more awake. That was what in my brain. When I told people caffeine is the clue, every one of them was like, that's got some real terrible long-term effects. Horrible. Oh, and it's Ryan. He doesn't do any kind of drugs or drink. Oh, yeah, he's going to think this is way to the harmful side.
My
and I was like,
my sister even said the word. She's like, well, knowing Ryan, it's got to be way over on this side. And in my head, I was like, I don't think so. I think he would think it's not
harmful. So they reveal
harmful.
it, and it's like way over here, and they're like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, for me, it just...
Yeah, would it be like a group of bunnies would be like not harmful, and they're like caffeine. Yeah, it's all about, it's very cool of how people's brain works.
Really
because I feel like for almost anything, you could be like, oh man, but see those bunnies, they have disease.
Yeah,
so
right.
If you touch those bunnies, you're going to get disease.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they have some advanced cards. I don't know if you've seen the advanced cards. So they have like hot, cold, harmful, like that. Those kind of cards are horizontal, vertical, are very like just the basic ones. Some of these advanced cards are really funny and hard. So one of the ones I thought was cool was there was One Hit Wonder versus Pop Icon. Was like on that scale.
Yeah.
There was one that we keep laughing about. It's sexy Pokemon and unsexy Pokemon. And I don't know either. I don't know any Pokemon.
Don't even know
so
Pokemon.
So I thought that was really funny.
That's
I like
hilarious.
the overrated, underrated ones.
Yeah.
There's like overrated movie versus underrated movie.
Yeah, that's
and you have to
cool.
like not only know your team, but you have to like your team has to know me.
Yeah.
We had the underrated, overrated one for movies. And I know I had Bill and Dave on my team, and I know that we all enjoy the Saw movies.
Yeah.
But I know that people don't love those Saw movies. So I
Yeah.
said like Saw 1, and we went like underrated because people don't like it, but we liked it. So it's like you're playing to your team, just like in Codenames.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to know your audience.
So yeah, it's staying. I feel like I'm gonna just keep racking up plays of this. This could be, other than
Your
maybe
most
like
played?
Tumble and Dice or Strike
Yeah,
that gets
sure.
played over and over again. This could be my most played
That's awesome.
game.
I remember
2020.
when-
We'll see.
When we first got it, we were so excited and we opened it and we just sat on the couch and just like went back and forth for fun.
It was fun.
Playing it with each other.
Like, I would just put a card, do what I thought,
Yeah.
turn it to her, and we got it right like almost every time. It was
Yeah.
There's
so
a co-op.
fun.
There's a co-op mode.
Yeah, right.
where
If you're playing with
play
like
to
4 or
points.
5,
Yeah,
they
we
say
didn't play
to
with
do it
points.
that
We were
way.
just doing it for fun
Yeah.
because it was new and
it was great.
Back to the box cover, we took it to
Christmas.
Christmas, and Frankie and Kyle saw it, and they thought it was wrapping paper. They were like, "Oh, I love that the way that box is wrapped."
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is the
like,
box cover.
Another
Me too, it's the
funny
cover.
thing
Yeah.
was my cousin, who's not like a gamer or anything. She's like, "Oh, I just got that for Christmas," and Ryan was like, "How?" And she's like, "Yeah, my husband got it for me." And we're like,
What?
But where did he get it from? She's like, "I don't know, like Target." We're like, "No."
I'm like, I just got
yeah.
it.
He's like, "I just got it on Kickstarter." So we asked him
Later.
where
He's
he
like-
got it, and he's like, "Oh, I got it on Kickstarter."
Yeah, sometimes
okay.
I back some games. I'm like, oh,
We're like, "That's so
It's a
random."
good one to just
yeah, that's
randomly
random.
pick.
Like, yeah, it's right. That's so cool. So awesome game, Wavelength. Check it out.
Yes.
One of the first times that the three of us are able to opine on a game we're talking about.
Yeah.
We didn't even play it
And
together.
we haven't even played it together yet. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So we have we like the Key series in games. Key Flower might be Jeff's. That's got to be in your top 5.
It's great.
It's up there.
It's definitely top 10.
Maybe top 10.
Yeah.
You haven't played it in a while, so maybe that.
Right. I
brings it
just
down a little
texted
bit.
Deepwater Joe. I was like, we need to play this soon. And he
Yeah.
agreed.
Yeah. So I love Keyflower as well. Jeff and I learned that together horribly wrong when we first learned it at Grand Con a number of
Correct.
years ago. We still loved it. We learned it wrong and we loved it.
Yeah. It's
And
better
so
with the right rules.
It's better with the right
Yeah.
yeah, but it was still really so that anyway. That's testament to how great Keyflower is. I've since played Keyper, which I thought was really good. Keyflow, which I like maybe just as much as
Yeah,
Keyflower.
I love that.
And we just got Key Market, which is a game that came out before Keyflower originally. So this is a reprint.
Oh,
It's a
right.
reprint.
Yep.
It's also not designed by Richard Brees, who
Oh,
designs
okay.
all the Key games.
Yeah.
This is a guy who was inspired by the Key games, made one of his own. Richard Brees kind of gave it his blessing,
And then R&D picked it up.
and then
threw it in there.
they
Oh,
did
so
it,
that
right.
wasn't like the first one,
No, there was a few. There was like
but it was was it
Cathedral
before
is
all
one of
these?
them.
Yes,
It was before
Cathedral
all
is one,
these.
you're right.
Yeah. Cathedral is one. There's a couple other ones, but so in this game, you are. It's funny. They're all kind of similar. You're collecting resources and money to basically buy other things. I honestly don't even remember what the money was for. Oh yeah, the money is to buy more workers to put on the board.
Yeah.
You're moving your workers around these this like market board that you get resources from. That was actually kind of a cool mechanism. And you're using resources for everything else. Like there's these 5 little boards that you're going up on that give you new powers, which sounds so cool. And there's like 50 different there's not 50. There's like 20 different boards that you interchange throughout plays, which again sounded so awesome as I'm learning it. I'm like, this is going to be so fun. There's all these different powers you can, figure out how to tailor your game around, and it wasn't fun.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree. There's just, I don't know.
That sentence, I think, just summarizes it with, I don't...
It wasn't too simple because the decisions were not simple at all.
It was challenging, but they weren't fun
There weren't
decisions.
a lot of like ways that you get points. There weren't a lot of ways to get points, and it was kind of just like the ways to get those points were not very exciting or fun. I guess we just found ourselves like not caring as we were like playing it. We were like, I don't really care how well I'm doing or getting. the points.
whole time I was like, I don't care if I'm winning at all. But I wasn't like because I'm having so much fun. It was more like.
It's a different
Is
feeling.
this going to be over?
And as soon as you told me it was like an older game, I was like, that's it. I was like, that's exactly how it feels to me. It feels outdated. It doesn't feel like it's a game that somebody would make today. It just feels like an older type game.
Should caveat that. There's a lot of older games that are amazing.
Oh, I agree.
Hold up. This
That
one
one's
does
just not one
not
of them.
seem to hold up to us. To Natalie's point, there was a lot of times where we were like excruciatingly trying to decide what to do. But that's usually one of my favorite things in games.
It wasn't
like, oh man, what do I do?
I can do this.
It was
more
basically
like,
I don't know. I should I do that? I don't know. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. It wasn't. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't thrilling like I hoped and thought it would be.
It wasn't a bad game. It just wasn't a hit for us. And there's so many other games that do like similar type things that are just very fun, and this one just wasn't.
So out it goes.
Yeah.
Out, see ya.
That's
Bye,
Key
Key
Market by
Market.
R&D
Sorry.
Games.
So if you're listening and want to buy it,
Yeah, right.
Send an email to the-
me to the
you might
Gamecasters
like it.
podcast at gmail.com.
Yes.
Hey, you can also find us on Instagram. You can get a hold of Gamecasters or Mad Board Gamer. We both will respond to Gamecastery type topics.
Yep.
Which you'll find out later. So anyway, that's Key Market. Jeff, what else you got over there, man?
I recently played Clank in Space.
Ooh, cool.
Which has an exclamation point after every word
Yeah,
of
Clank.
that. Clank in Space.
Oh, really? There's an...
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I'm almost positive. I am pretty sure it's all their exclamation points after all of them. Yeah,
That's
Clank
awesome.
in Space!
I never played
Exclamation
any of
point.
the Clank games.
I played the base Clank.
Yeah, and so this is Paul Denon, Renegade Games, who's more and more Renegade games that come out, the more and more I like them.
Oh, they're one of the best publishers there is.
And I've played it 2 or 3 times, 2017 game, and it's a re-implementation of the first Clank. So this is now a different theme with a similar mechanic. It's a deck building game, so if you like deck building games, this is it.
Yep, we've actually talked about Clank on the show back in 2016 when it was just me and Jeremy.
Ooh, okay. So now this is part 2 for In Space.
Right. I'm sure
Years
nobody
later.
remembers that. So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
And I've never played the original, so I'm curious of how you'll have to let me know how this the theme correlates or how to play.
sure.
So you're thieves on this ship. The evil Lord Erraticus. You're on his ship, and you're traveling around his ship and stealing his artifacts and collecting credits, which are points at the end of the game. And you are then building your deck to do more things. So you're building with technology and allies and programs to kind of help you get through the ship more efficiently, more effectively,
Absolutely
gather points.
Nothing like
Really?
the original Clank.
So that theme to me,
thematic.
okay, sure. The theme to me is cool. Some of the cards will then, as you play them, they say add a clank. So you're like making noise. So you're adding clanks to the board, and then at some point, the Lord Erraticus will attack you. And if you've made the most clank, you're like reaching in this bag and pulling out cubes to find out who gets kind of damaged.
Super real quick. In
Yeah.
original Clank, you were adventurers going into a dungeon to steal treasure from a dragon.
Okay.
And the clank noise you're making eventually wakes the dragon up. And
Oh,
he
okay.
attacks you. And
This
then you're
is-
trying to get the F out of there before he fully wakes up or something. And if you don't, before he fully wakes up, anyone that's not above this certain threshold on the board loses.
So that's almost the same thing. So as soon as you steal an artifact, if you're not out of the ship or at a certain point, you don't get to count your points at
Yeah,
all.
right.
So
Same thing.
similar thing, dragons versus this evil
it's all,
robot
it's the
lord.
same mechanism.
Yeah, but I like, so when you're playing cards, sometimes in deck builders where you're playing Ascension or Dominion or Thunderstone, you can either go here or here. And with this one, you can do both. You do everything on the card. So you can buy new cards and you can move your person around the board instead of just one or the other. So I feel like you're gathering cards quicker. And the game is really fun. The board is great where there's like slower paths that are kind of more lucrative, but there's then much quicker paths to the artifacts to steal. but they're not. You don't get as many points for taking those. And then once you get out, so in the game that we just played, Bill got his artifact quickly and then got on a ship and left fast. And when it comes to your turn, you have nothing to do. So what you do is you're basically then attacking. So you're grabbing the bag and pulling out the cubes as Bill. Yeah. So every time Bill's turn, he gets to pull cubes and try to damage Dave and I. And so he's like super excited about that. Dave and I are panicking to get out of the ship. And
that's Bill, by the way.
Yeah, he just
he's like, he probably got so into that. So real quick, what he's talking about, you have to get an artifact and leave. You can stay and get more artifacts and then get more points, but you run the risk of not getting out in time.
Yeah, so if you don't get out,
Bill grabs something real quick. If Jeff and Dave happen to get out with more, they're going to destroy Bill.
Yeah.
But Bill's hope is I'm going to kill them
before they get out.
And then I'll be the only one that's out, and then I win.
Yeah.
Right? So,
yeah,
and
continue. Yeah, it was cool because that's what happened. And you need to get an artifact. If you don't get an artifact, you can't even count your points. So you have to get an artifact. So Bill got an artifact before I was even in the zone to get one. So then I got one last. Dave was able to get out and get on a ship. So you get on a ship, you also get more points when you actually get on a ship. I was able to get to the point where I could count my score, but I didn't get on the ship to get bonus points. And I think both of us ended up having more points than Bill.
Yeah.
But Dave ended up winning because he got on the ship and spent a little more time. But it was very close. We were both like 1 or 2 cubes away from...
Did all of you have a great time?
Yeah, it was awesome. I just told Dave, I think this might be one of my... That and Thunderstone could be my favorite deck builders. And I don't love, this, I don't love like deck builders. Like these card games don't like draw me, but Clank in Space is great.
Well, it's interesting because when Clank came out, and it's been around for a while now.
Yeah.
It was still after the entire deck building, era.
Yeah.
Right? So Dominion, Thunderstone, Ascension, all those games came out a long time ago. 2008 and on, and then that kind of had its, or maybe 2010, and then that had its day in the sun. Everyone was doing deck builders. That was all it was. And then that kind of went away, right, for a number of years until Clank. And Clank came out, and it was kind of like, this is a deck builder again. And people were like, oh, okay, we've seen that before. And then they played it, me included, and we're like, oh, this is fresh. It feels fresh. That Clank mechanism is really cool.
Yep.
And it can screw you because they go into this bag and you pull them out randomly, and then if they fill up, it can hurt you. But it's fun because you're like, okay, do I play this awesome card? But it generates 3 Clank. I don't know if I want to do that. And so it's, to Jeff's point, the theme in there, the mechanisms. It feels like a fresh new deck. So I agree with you. It's one of the better implementations of the deck building mechanism that's come out in a while.
And they have a legacy game out, Clank Legacy.
I want it.
Which I'm interested in trying out and playing.
Yeah, I want it too. So I just love Legacy. Legacy.
So that was Clank in Space.
That we
awesome.
Never
Renegade.
Do.
Awesome. The last game I want to talk about is maybe the most Donkey Kong Madigan game. I'm sorry, Donkey Kong Madigan ass game that has ever been designed. I'm bringing this to Nerdfest, and Dave Madigan, if you're listening to this, you are going to play this with me. This is... I know Jeff wants to play it too. For sure.
Side note, Dave was looking for Christmas gifts, and he usually texts one of us and is like, hey, what game might I like? And this was the first one. I was like...
That you said to him?
This is the first one I sent to him. I was like, this has you written all over it.
You know your brother very well because this... the whole time I was playing this, I was like, Dave has to play this. This is I'm like, Dave Madigan is going to love this game. He's going to love the crap out of this game. It's set in the Lovecraftian Cthulhu universe, which typically I don't really care about. But since it's such an open source thing, you don't have to pay for this license. You don't have to pay anybody to use this. Everyone does it, which is why it kind of annoyed me for a long time. Like, people are just slapping Cthulhu onto it and just, is the game actually any good? This one's designed by Eric Lang and Rob Davio. Rob Davio is the one who designs all the Legacy stuff.
Yeah,
which is pretty
it's
strange.
It's a good combo. Not much better than that.
Right. So it was kind of weird because this game isn't Legacy. There's not Legacy stuff. However, it's got some interesting components in how you set it up. So okay, it's a dudes on a map. You're trying to kill Cthulhu. All right, that's what you're doing. Every single episode you play, think of that as like a scenario, is the same thing. You have to disrupt a ritual that these cultists are trying to perform, and then you have to kill the Great Old One. So each game starts out the same way. You pick a Great Old One. So in this instance, we picked Cthulhu, and he's got, in his box, he has some of his own monsters specific to him, some cards specific to him. You pick him. There's also a couple different other Great Old Ones you could choose from. And then you pick an episode, and there's, I think, 6 episodes. And then you can intermingle these episodes with the Great Old Ones. You can just kind of combine them in different ways. And each episode also has its own cards, its own components, its own tokens. And so we started with Cthulhu and episode 1. And you just combine all those components together to create the game. And then it's cooperative. So then Natalie and I go through and we have to disrupt the ritual, which is in the first game, you have to basically destroy these laboratories that these cultists are trying to, they're trying to basically summon Cthulhu.
Yeah.
And to kill him.
Cool.
Right? So we did that. We disrupt this ritual. Once you disrupt the ritual, Cthulhu comes onto the board like, what the, and you get to kill him. He's like much weaker. And there's not too many Cthulhu games where you actually get to fight the Great Old One. Like I'll take Mansions of Madness, for instance. You're not actually ever fighting Cthulhu. You're fighting the minions of him because you're just lowly investigators, right? Mm-hmm. We're just like, Rita Young is just this little girl who gets to run real fast, right? It's usually like these insurmountable forces you're doing. In this game, you're kind of badass hero characters, and you have these sweet powers and sweet stuff that you can use to kill the forces. It's awesome because the game is it's pretty quick. I mean, it took a while to play our first game, but it's a pretty quick game. Your turn, you can take a few actions. You can move. You can move through enemies in this game. The cool thing about that is when you move through a space that has enemies, the enemies just follow you. So if you want to just run around the board, you can't really do that because wherever you end up, all the enemies you passed will just come to your space.
Yeah.
And then you can attack, and you can give other items to people, and then they attack you. And it's all standard stuff, but for some reason it comes together in this really cool and fun and unique package and experience. And I don't know, the whole time I was just like, I love this. I am loving this game. It is so fun. The miniatures, I mean, it's cool when you're not. Come on, I should say. So the miniatures are fantastic. The component quality is great. The design is great. I read a thing, or I watched a video, I should say, with Eric Lang where he talked about him and Rob Davio designed this, and they had 3 full designs that they threw away before they landed on this one. They designed the game and they were like, is this fun? And they were like, yeah, I think it is fun. And then they were like, is this the most fun? And they were like, nope. And so they scrapped it and did that 3 times before they landed on this design. And I think it's a hit. It's a great game. Natalie, what did you think about Death May Die?
I liked this game a lot more than I thought I would. And I thought I wouldn't like it. So
any bit more than that would be.
Yeah, these aren't usually like my favorite kind of games, and I honestly was not really that pumped to play it, but it ended up being really fun. And I mean, after you said what you said about them like scrapping the first few games and trying to make the most fun game, I can totally see that in the game. Like it seemed really well balanced. Every part of it just seemed to work together really well. I liked that, the objective was fairly simple. There wasn't like too much of
like rules overhead.
Yeah, the rules overhead. And even like in some of these games, sometimes you're just like, I don't know what's going to come out next. And that was in this, but it wasn't just like that didn't happen and just completely change the game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
there wasn't a ton of like extraneous components, which in a lot of these Ameritrash games
almost like
can bog you.
Yeah, tokens and tokens and tokens.
Right.
Okay, you get it.
Yeah, like there wasn't like, the turns. I liked, the turns because there wasn't like too much going on, but it was like, it just all worked and made sense. I guess is all I can say.
There's this cool mechanism. So if you've ever played a Cthulhu game, you know that there's always 2 ways to lose or to die. You can die by getting beaten up, or you can go insane.
That's the part,
so the insanity mechanic in this game is so cool because it's kind of like this game called The Others, which Eric Lang designed before, which I played, which is really cool. So basically, you roll dice to resolve combat. So it's a dice rolling game.
Usual.
And when you roll these tentacles sides, you basically lose sanity. And there's this giant sanity track at the top of the board. So there's these every so often there's a space on the sanity track that will trigger your insanity card because you have an insanity card at the beginning of the game. So every time you hit that, something bad happens to you. You start to go a little more insane. However, the cool thing is once you hit those checkpoints that drive you insane, you also get to bump up. You have like these 3 abilities that you start with, and they each have greater abilities. So it's like a tech tree. And so every time you hit one of these things, you go a little more insane, you get closer to death, but you also get a little stronger. And you get to pick which ability of yours you want to bump up to make yourself stronger. And so sometimes you're like, oh God, I attacked for 4, but I have 3 tentacles, so I'm going to go, my sanity is going to go up. But it's like, oh, but that'll get me to this thing, which lets me activate this insanity card, which actually kind of helps me. And then I get to do this ability, which kills them. And so it's these really cool you have these really cool turns.
Yeah,
Which sounds fun.
that was
which
one of
can
my
really
favorite
ramp up.
part of the whole game, that sanity track, because like you said, like you want to go up on it because it gives you better abilities. It lets you do your like insanity action, which is only good. It gives you more dice, but at the same time, the further you get, like you can die from it. So
Yeah, I
You
did.
just want to be just the right amount
right,
of
so you have to
insanity.
balance.
Yeah.
Go
Like you don't want to just
insane
like
enough.
fly up that track because you'll just be dead, and you have to balance the good versus
Yep.
bad, and that's like it was really.
So we
it was
won.
Really cool.
It was kind of the skin of our teeth kind of thing. We won. I died from sanity.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm just going to go up sanity and get all these abilities. And then after a while, I was like, uh-oh.
Oops.
It's too late because you can't ever go down. If you can, we haven't figured out how.
Yeah.
There's not a way to lose, to become more sane.
Maybe in a different.
Maybe in a different,
Case
different
or-
episode or
Right.
a different great old one that might have that. But so I was like, oh God, I'm gonna die. And luckily, at a certain point in the game, that can happen and you can still have a chance to win. So I was like the tank, killing everything, and Natalie was kind of going around and disrupting the labs and doing stuff like that. And so at the very end, I went insane, and so Natalie was left to face Cthulhu on her own. And she ended up defeating him, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
We did a story on Instagram, and some of you might have seen that. But it was so much fun. This is a fantastic game. Cthulhu Death May Die by CMON, and designed by Eric Lang and Rob Davio. I think it's amazing. Dave Madigan, again, if you're listening, just buy this damn thing. You're gonna love it. It's amazing. So those are the games we have been playing.
Yeah. Yes, they are.
Yeah. So it is the new year. I thought maybe we should do some Gamecasters resolutions.
Okay.
I don't really ever stick to my normal resolutions, so I
neither.
thought maybe I'd have a better chance at a gaming-themed one. You guys can be my accountability partners. If I fail, thwack me in the nose with shame until I correct it. Maybe ring a bell and parade me naked in the streets or something, and I'll do the same for you all.
Shame.
Everyone listening
Shame.
at home,
Friends.
you do the same thing. Make sure you find someone who will be able to parade you naked in the streets if you should fail. But I think it's cool to have a gaming resolution. So without further ado, my gaming resolution this year, I resolved to keep my collection under control, and I will not buy any more games.
Wow, that's fake.
No.
He already
No.
did.
That's not. You already bought a game in 2020.
I'm sure he did.
That's
I bought
ridiculous.
I bought the expansion to Wax No,
Well-
no. I couldn't even get through this.
Yeah. It's currently January 5th, and it's already been broken.
Ridiculous.
No, seriously. Okay, I resolved to get my game that I'm designing, the Samurai, to the next step. I will get the artwork completely nailed down, and then approach some game companies and send out some prototypes. That's my. I resolved to do that
That's a
this
big
year.
resolution.
Yes, my game will see the light of day. I don't know if it'll see the light of day this year, but I resolved to
Yeah.
get it going.
Yeah.
This year, Jeff.
We will keep you to that.
Yeah, can you be my accountability
Yeah.
partners
Yeah.
here?
Yeah, I think there's some avenues that we can help you with and we can do. I think we got this.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, I'm excited for that. Thank you, guys. Jeff, what about you?
Yeah. I have like a couple quick ones. I have like 7 or 8 games in my collection that I've played once, and I want to play them at least 1 or 2 more times this year. Those
Yeah.
games including Black Angel, Castell, Tapestry, Crown of Amara, Parks, Underwater Cities. So those games I want to play again.
Sure.
And then I have a handful of unplayed games that need to get played at least once.
Wait, you only played Underwater Cities the once.
I know.
Wow.
It's very sad.
Well, to me, it's a testament of how much you like
And
it.
I fell in
Yeah.
love with it. So unplayed games: Pulsar, 2849, Crusaders, Gugong, Terraforming Mars, and Euphoria, which is brand new. So
Yep.
brand new to me, not to the world.
Do you want to hit some of these at Nerdfest?
Yes, those are on like. If I can get 5 of that chunk played
Yep.
during that would be awesome.
I'm with you. All right,
Yeah.
I will help you with
So
this
we can
one
get
at
some of
Nerdfest.
those.
Yes.
Yep, I'll
My-
stay on you about that.
My bigger one for the year is that I want to play more games with Devin, my wife.
Okay.
So I want to play more games with her. And I know there's this whole thing of like 10 by 10, but honestly, how many
failed
people
every time.
how many
Yeah,
people
it's
actually
not
get through a 10 by
realistic.
10? It's not realistic, and it's not realistic for I love playing games, she likes playing games. We also both really love sitting on the couch and watching movies after a long day. So we need to commit to playing games, and maybe we do like a 5x5
Yeah,
or like
people do
a
that.
5x4, something that we create like, all right, we're going to play these 5 games that I know she loves, and we're going to play them once a month or, every other month. And just, I want to play more games with her because I really like playing. I just like playing games with her. I like spending that time together,
Right,
not
it's doing your
necessarily
favorite
watching.
thing.
Yeah.
It's with your favorite person.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah, it's just interacting in a different way than sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
Evan's
Like,
at
sitting
home
on the couch
listening
is
going, no.
awesome.
I know.
No.
She's like, no. It's like, I thought you were going to say more Netflix.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, yes.
All right.
Mine.
Fantastic. I can definitely help you with the unplayed games
Yes.
one and the one played games
Awesome.
one.
Natalie?
What about
Well,
you?
mine won't be a surprise, I guess, to anyone because I keep squawking about this. But it's kind of similar to Jeff's. I want to play the games that we've only played once that I loved. I want to play them all again.
Your whiteboard games.
Yep.
Yes.
We
The
have
games that are on the
Tapestry,
whiteboard.
I've been,
Everdell,
you know-
Teotihuacan, Underwater Cities, Well,
I've been
Terraforming
saying that
Mars,
a
Gaia
lot.
Project, Too
Yeah,
Many Bones.
Exactly.
You've only played Everdell once?
Yes.
Man.
I've been talking.
Yeah,
Let's
I
play
know-
Everdell.
you
Let's
really
play
like that
Everdell
too.
like every week, and we just don't. And so my goal is to all of those games that I've played once and really liked. I want to play them all again.
We can.
We gotcha.
We can hit some of these together.
Yeah, let's
If we
combine
play like
those.
Terraforming Mars at Nerdfest.
That would
That'll
hit
get-
both of
that would
ours.
hit both of ours.
Castell would
Yes.
hit all of them.
Yep,
'cause we
Castell
guys
would
played that
we
once.
only played that
All right.
once. Tapestry would
Let's
also
make
do that.
we'll make a list.
Yes,
We
we'll
can do
make
it.
a list.
We can
You
do
people
this.
at home, all of you people. What you mean, you people? You people at home, do the same thing. Make a gaming resolution. Find someone to hold you accountable. And it can be fun. I would love to hear, what your resolutions are, which I think our own Mad Board Gamer will help with that. And also throughout the year, how you've been doing. It'd be really fun, I think, for all of us. So that is awesome. Good on us all. I think we can really help
We can
each
do
other.
this.
Yes.
So, with that out of the way, let's head on over to the Instagram inbox and hear from you all.
Oh yeah, I'm the Mad Board Gamer. This is the Instagram inbox. I would like to say that I love doing this. I've
Do you?
had
Yes.
it's
I'm so
so
happy you
fun.
do.
And even if I don't get I'm sure other people who put out questions get hundreds of responses. I get a handful, a dozen maybe at most. But it's amazing talking to people, and I love asking the question and then asking them the more questions about that. So
Well, to that point, I will say, so you get a handful of responses. First of all, I'm sure we just so you guys know,
Love
we
it.
appreciate that so
Yes.
much.
Yes.
But
Thank you.
have more time to talk to these people individually and get to know them more. If we were getting hundreds of responses, you wouldn't have as much time to do that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So
That's a
that's,
good point.
And I feel like I know some of these people now. Like I want to meet some of these people in person.
Sure.
So hopefully maybe if they go to Gen Con or I go to
Yeah.
Origins or Grand Con or something, we can meet up and actually meet each other. So
Heck yeah.
let's start with a fellow teacher, Miss French Toast,
Miss French Toast.
who we know. This is Sam from Marquette, she's a teacher. And let's go back. The question was, what's your memorable gaming moment of 2019? That's what we talked about last episode.
Yes.
Yep.
So I sent the question out. What is a gaming moment that you're going to remember from this past year? And Miss French Toast said that as of 2019, people would seek her out for recommendations, and she is no longer a non.
Yeah.
Yay!
And she messaged me as well as I know she messaged
Yep.
the Gamecasters account and said that she loves using the term non now. It's
I'm
like one of her
so-
favorite things.
That's awesome.
That was I got to tell you this, Miss French Toast. That kind of made me tear up a little bit. A couple years ago at Nerdfest, I started I don't know why, but I referred to these to non-gamers as nons, and I remember you and Christy specifically burst out laughing.
Yeah.
And so I've kind of used that term as just affectionately. We've just all used that term ever since then. And then Miss French Toast, what's her name? I'm so sorry.
Sam.
Sam. You messaged the Gamecasters account and you just brought up nons in a casual way, and it really got to me. And so this is for you. Thank you. You made my day, and I'm so happy that you listened to the show, as I am all of you who Jeff's about to talk about. But special shout out to Sam, Miss French Toast. Sorry, keep going.
Who is not a non.
Who is now not a non. You are an
Yes.
official non-non.
So next conversation came from the Cinema Dude with underscores.
Okay.
He said he finally played Horrified and his non-gaming friends loved it, which I think is something that we've always talked about. Getting other
Yes.
people into the hobby is so cool.
That's probably a special moment. Like,
So I
my
asked him. I'm
friends
like,
like the games I like.
When we
It's
played
so
that
cool.
seemed like a good gateway game.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's I've debated back and forth buying that game a lot because I think my students would love it.
Of course they would.
It's just like it's a perfect co-op. You're fighting against monsters that
That you
everybody
know.
knows. It's not just like Cthulhu and these things. It's
Right.
It's so it's
The
great.
Parkers bought that game and loved it too.
Sure did.
Yeah. I asked him if his friends now playing more games, and he says yes, and he loves getting his friends involved in it.
That's cool.
It's also one of his new favorites.
This is the Cinema Dude.
Cinema Dude. Yep. Oh, we got a response from our good buddy Nestor.
Nestor.
Hey, Nestor.
And Nestor
What's up,
had a
Nestor?
cool experience at Cool Stuff Games in Miami.
He actually went to the store.
Yeah, he lives in Miami. He went to the store. I guess they have game nights there.
Okay.
And he had the opportunity to meet Tom Vassell.
Sweet. Because, Cool Stuff sponsors the Dice Tower.
Yes.
Okay.
So he kind of goes there all the time.
So that's a great experience. He also said that Tom Vassell played some games with his kids too.
Aw.
Which
that's
I know
awesome.
Tom Vassell loves.
Well, he's got
kids
1,000 kids, so.
Yeah.
True.
He loves playing games with kids and loves
Yeah.
like kids. So that's very
Yep.
cool. He sent me a picture of Tom Vassell playing with his kids,
Oh,
which
that's
is pretty awesome.
That is so
That's
awesome.
really
Yeah.
Natalie and I have played a game with Tom Vassell, too.
Yeah, we played Caverna.
Yep. And
Okay,
I
go ahead.
destroyed his
Just-
face.
You wanna get
I
into-
destroyed
yeah.
him. Also, in case anyone doesn't know, there's this Magnet Game Attraction. I played that one with Richard
Oh my
Launius.
Okay, so side note, I texted you guys earlier that I went back and listened to episode 9.
Yeah.
That was the first time you said that was episode 9.
Episode 9.
So episode 9, if you want to go back to
Before
the
we-
original, because that was the episode you talked about gaming conventions.
Okay, yeah.
And you were like, I would have never had this experience with Richard Launius playing a dragon. So it was like, it was
Weird.
this,
I never thought I'd brought that up. I thought this was the first time.
oh, this no.
Now, episode
Yeah.
32, you're still talking about it.
Stay tuned for episode 33. We talk about Richard Launius. So that was Nestor. Thanks, Nestor.
Yeah,
you the
Nestor.
man. We have Never Bored of Gaming.
Oh, I know that account.
Yep. They just finished the Rise of Fenris campaign.
Yeah, okay, that's Scythe.
Yeah, in Scythe.
Yeah.
And it took him over a year. He said he won 6 of the 8 games,
Nice.
but ended up losing the campaign.
Oh, no.
But still, great experience. So I'm happy for him that he finished that, because sometimes you get those big games and you never finish, and
yeah.
that's like
Yeah, yeah.
it's
We've
such
never finished
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah.
such
what
a cool
moment.
culminating
Yeah.
moment to like finish it.
I've heard
Yes.
great things about that expansion.
Yep. Trivia Geek,
Yep.
who's
Oh, we know
awesome
Trivia
and one of our favorites. And this is, I feel like the two of you might want to connect. He got to demo some of his designs at several conventions this year.
Oh, awesome.
Oh, really?
Yes. And I asked him a bunch about it and the games. So he has 3 games right now that he's working on.
Developing,
And they're in different stages. Some are in like instruction development and blind play testing and stuff like that. They're called Ghosts of War, Kato, and Color Rush.
Ooh.
The publishing studio is Twice Alive Games.
Is it his
in
publishing
North
studio?
Carolina? I don't believe
He's
so.
working with the
He's
studio?
working with them. They seem super supportive of him and are trying to get this big production
Really?
published.
Very
So
exciting.
I'm looking forward to seeing how it comes along. I also told him, I'm like, if you want a podcast to demo anything, and let us know, we'll give him a
We
little.
could give you a shizzle-izzle.
Yeah. So keep us updated, Trivia Geek,
Trivia geek.
who's named Dan. So thanks,
He's
Dan.
awesome guy.
Noodles plays. The first time I played Azul at his local game store with his friends. He'll remember that.
And that was
in
that happened in
2019.
2019.
Yep.
awesome.
Wow.
He said he bought it 2 days later, and I think it's just so fun when you discover a new game that just kind of like blows you away.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
And you never played a game like Azul, and you play it, and you're like, wow, how cool
What
is that?
is this?
Yeah.
And he got to play it with his friends, and I think his friends are now coming in. And then he's completely stepped it up, and now he's playing Gloomhaven.
Whoa.
So he's like in
Holy
to Gloomhaven.
cow.
And I was like, well, if you live in Michigan and want somebody to hang out, he's like, no, I live
You
in
just
the
went from caffeine to cocaine.
Yeah. He's like, I live in the UK. So I'm like, well, that's a long Tuesday
Yeah, right.
travel. I don't think I'll be able to do that.
That's a little too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if we go to Essen one year, we could all meet up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be good. Okay, so this is going to be on me a little bit of stupidity. So Gamerheads sent me. You're going to instantly know what this person was talking about, but I didn't. So the response said 10 sixes in Las Vegas. So hold on. So
yeah.
you understand, Natalie, I see that's the look that I had. And I was like, is he talking about like playing craps? Because honestly, throwing 10 sixes in a row on
Yeah,
craps would
would be
also be
like,
very impressive. And I was like,
Yeah.
Oh, the
wow,
game
what is
Las
that?
Vegas?
Yeah, Las
so
Vegas.
now I'm like, all right.
Las Vegas,
So I messaged him and I was like, of course, now I sound like a big idiot. So Gamerheads then explains to me, who I sound like a non, that that the game Las Vegas, we know this game. You
Yep.
take 10 dice and you roll them.
Yep.
He rolled 10 sixes.
Which
my
means
God.
you must put all those 10 sixes on the 6.
Yeah.
You can't do anything
Like,
else because you
That's
have to put all of one
crazy.
That is
number.
insane. So he was trying to explain the probability to me, and I'm like, I don't understand numbers, dude. I don't know. It seems like
Yeah,
billions.
it's like 1 in 600,000. I don't know.
It's more than that. It's like I think it's in like the billions, like 10 billion to 1 to roll
Holy
something like that. So I was like,
crap.
did you play the lottery? Did you sell your soul? And he just said they like spent the night kind of laughing
He's like,
about
I
it.
had my one. This is like my biggest moment in the world of luck playing Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't. Why couldn't this have happened to me?
Yeah, why didn't
playing
you get the
Real
lottery.
Las Vegas.
Yeah, in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
No, just the board game Las Vegas.
So
wow,
crazy.
That is amazing.
So that was cool.
Nuts.
And then our good buddy Peter Nuclear Knight 83.
Wait a minute, really quick.
Yeah.
that's kind of like the thing we always say, almost the inverse. We always say this. We're like, if you roll all ones on these 10 dice, you get to kill me.
Yeah, you're dead. That
Like
could
in
have
real
happened.
life. Yeah.
But
oh my gosh.
thankfully he
But the
rolled
other way.
sixes.
So now he has to have a baby.
Okay. He has to change the population the
Yeah.
opposite way.
Yeah. If you roll all sixes, you have to procreate.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Nuclear Knight.
Nuclear Knight 83. Peter, great dude.
Yeah, we know him.
He echoes kind of what we've talked about a lot on this show. Is the most memorable moment of 2019 is just finding the board game community. And he said he didn't know there were so many nerds.
Oh, did he just start out this year?
I think he started out
Very cool.
like maybe not necessarily gaming, but getting into more like heavier games and more what we call like games.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Games.
yeah, the nerd, we're everywhere. We are taking
We
over.
are.
So
There's dozens of us.
and there are dozens of us.
There's
The
thousands
never
of
nudes.
us.
Yeah, and it's really is the best community. Like it's so cool to talk to people about games and even just commenting on posts and having these messages back and forth have been really awesome.
Yeah.
So that was the Instagram inbox with me,
Those
the
are
Mad
That's
Board
so
Gamer.
cool. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We say this every time, and we will continue to say it every time. Thank you so much for reaching out and talking with our Mad Board Gamer. I'm so happy you like doing that because
I do.
It's great for us. I think it's great for the show. I think it's great for everybody listening. I think it's a very symbiotic kind of segment. You know,
Yeah.
it works for everybody, and it just makes me happy inside. So that's super cool. Now we're going to go the other way here. It's time for the newest segment of our show, something that we're calling the Board Game Beatdown. So we did this last episode with Wingspan, and as I was doing, like, kind of developing this, I was like, this is really fun to do, and I think this is going to be really fun to continue. So if you didn't listen to the last episode, this is where we take one super popular game and read you all the most hilarious and negative comments or reviews that we can find. So what we're going to do with this first time is Natalie is going to read us and explain to us the negative comments and things for the game of the episode. Natalie, take it away.
So today on Board Game Beatdown, we are going to do one of the most popular games on BGG, which is Pandemic Legacy Season 1.
Season 1.
Ooh, okay.
There's 34,000 ratings and 5,000 comments on this game.
Right?
Oh,
I know.
that is a
I
lot.
know. Holy cow.
And the BGG rating is 8.6, which is pretty high, right?
I think it's like the
huge.
second highest.
Yeah.
So we know some of them must be hateful. Before we get to it, I want to say that there's a bit of foul language in here, but we decided to leave it in for integrity's sake.
Yeah,
So
let's,
just be warned, this is the
For
earmuff
integrity.
section.
Yeah, these people wrote these words. It would
Yeah.
be a
Not a
it would
lot,
be
just like
bad
maybe
to
one.
them. There's a couple. There's a couple. There's
Okay,
a couple.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
we don't want to
here's-
sully their image. We need to preserve their words
Yeah,
exactly how
yeah.
they intended them. All right, Natalie, kick it off.
All right. Captain Murder Casket says.
Captain Murder. That's it. That's all I need to know. Next comment.
Exactly. Done.
Murder casket.
Who thinks of that name? The murder caskets are a very, very high society falutin, family.
They say, Jesus H. Christ, how on earth is this Boarfest so highly rated? Are you all insane? Ugh. Also, a game you have to bin after you finish it? Not exactly environmentally friendly now, is it? Nope. The most overhyped game I've ever wasted my time on, period.
Okay. All right.
Bin means throw
All right.
away.
Bin means throw away. So this guy
Yeah.
must be
English?
or from the UK
Sure.
because we don't say bin here in the States,
No.
right? So murder casket must be an English name.
Yeah, the Murder Casket family.
They doesn't know what that means.
Exactly.
Yeah, if your last name is Murder Casket,
Murder
I
Caskets.
kind of apologize
Yeah,
for
right.
laughing.
But that's a funny name. All right, continue.
Next, Omertron says, it's Pandemic Yawn Fest with more crap loaded on. What's not to dislike?
Ooh, usually it's what not to like.
The next one.
Okay, if you don't like Pandemic to begin with, why are you playing Pandemic Legacy?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
he says Yawn Fest. It's Pandemic. So, I mean, I guess maybe you think it's the Legacy version. It's going to be so much better.
Yeah.
I don't know. Who knows? All right, continue.
Kraken be trippin'.
Is it a capital B? Kraken B.
Capital
All right,
K,
so-
capital B,
So you're on
capital
a
T.
boat. You're on a boat, and you're like, fishing off the North Sea, and all of a sudden this giant tentacle thing comes up, and the first thing you say out of your mouth is, "This Kraken be tripping."
This is my favorite name. Kraken be trippin' says, just trying to get Gloomhaven to number 1.
And it worked.
Perfect. You did
And
it.
it worked because
Success.
Gloomhaven is now number 1.
Yep.
So all of these that Natalie's reading are people that have rated the game a 1 or a 2.
Yeah.
All right, so that person obviously just rated
Worst
the game
game
a
ever.
1.
Worst game ever. Yep.
Yeah.
Rated the game a 1 just to get Gloomhaven at number 1. And if you guys don't
just to
know,
bring 'em down.
the number 1 game of all time on Board Game Geek now is Gloomhaven. And number 2 is Pandemic Legacy Season 1. So this guy, what's his
All
name?
thanks to Crack and Be Tripping.
Crack and Be
Tripping.
This crack.
This crack and be
I
tripping.
said, what's his name? Like I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know, you just talked about
Crack and Be tripping. Yeah. Okay, sorry, continue.
Okay.
That crack can be tripping.
Martin Stever says, cooperative activities are not games. Want to cooperate with your friends? Go camping.
Wait a minute. What are you cooperating with in camping? I guess building
Setting
the
the
tent.
tent. Yeah.
Building the tent.
Yeah.
That's the cooperation.
Surviving. Not going
Yeah.
to the Dilatov Pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all cooperated.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Bit Halver says, game is shit.
Can't argue with that one.
There you go. Okay, move on.
What are you
Yep,
going to say?
yep.
Okay.
Straight to the point. Tiggs says, legacy games should not be. It's an affront to nature.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay. People hate legacy games.
Yeah, I guess.
Some people.
Including Tiggs.
Like nature doesn't want it.
It's an affront to nature.
Wow.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's evil. All right, here we go.
Nino Millie 05 says, OMG. I don't know, but somebody was eating crazy mushrooms. This is number 1 on BGG? Yeah, and I'm Richard Gere. We're like, what?
Okay,
Why Richard
that was your
Gere?
go-to celebrity? Richard Gere.
Someone is very. This is Natalie's dad. No, he would have said Enrique Iglesias.
Yeah, what am I, Enrique Iglesias?
Yeah, and I'm
George
Enrique.
Michaels?
He probably thinks he is.
Yeah.
It's got to be an older gent who,
Yeah.
Richard. His wife is in love with Richard Gere. And he's always wanted to be him.
Yeah. That's really funny.
OMG. Although he did say OMG.
That's true. Although my dad says
That still could
my dad
make
says,
that still could
what
make him an
does he
older
say?
gent.
This crack can be tripping.
Yeah. This guy could
Oh,
be
he always says
tripping.
AF.
Oh, he
does.
Like,
does.
that's crazy AF. And I was like, oh my God.
You're 65.
stop.
All right, go on.
Okay. Xtina Semko says, I would never play this again, but I'm merely forced by my ever so lovely boyfriend for some god awful reason to fill up space as an extra body to be a fucking medic. I was a medic in real life, so you'd think I'd be great as a medic in this game, but my boyfriend and his friend make all the decisions. I hope the diseases ravish us all so I don't have to play this anymore.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Jeez. She
Yeah.
wants to kill all of
Yep,
us just
all
so she
of
doesn't have to
humanity.
play Pando Season 1? I'm calling it Pando.
Man.
Holy
Yeah,
crap.
She be tripping.
She'd be tripping. What's her name?
Xtina Semko.
I've seen it. Semko be tripping.
It's really funny. She just felt so strongly about this that she had to go write a terrible review because she hates being forced playing it.
Wow.
Like, what?
That's rough.
That was a beatdown.
Yeah. That was
This
a
next
beatdown.
one I'm going to have Ryan read because he read it when we were practicing and it was pretty funny.
All right, so first I need to caveat this. This guy is clearly a non-native English speaker. So this is not meant to insult this gentleman. It's just when I read this in my mind, I read it
had
with
an
a
accent
Russian
in
accent. So I'm going to read this one from Haze Giant. Haze Giant says, "Finally, we finished game tomorrow. That was the worstest 18 games in my 2 years adventure in Board Game World. After first 8 months, my rating was 7. Not for me, but still good game, with random. I don't like random in games. Now after ending, my rating is 2. Ending is horribly designed. I won't play Pandemic Legacy anymore and can't recommend it for my friends. Disappointing. Overrated. Game doesn't even deserve for top 100 BGG. Bed.
So dramatic. I like how he thinks it doesn't deserve to be in the top 100, but it was number 1 for
Yeah.
a long time.
The ending is horribly designed.
Yep,
He
bad,
wouldn't
bad.
even recommended it.
Nope. 3 bads.
Oh my gosh. The next one is from Worker Placement, which is basically worker placement without all of the vowels. And they say, the worker placement in this game is terrible.
That's funny. That's great.
We just think they go around and judging
Yeah.
the worker placement
Yeah.
aspect of the game.
Because if you don't know, Pandemic Legacy is not a word.
Not a worker place. But it's terrible.
So it deserves a 1 for that
Yeah.
reason. Because he's right.
That's great.
And last but not least, we believe this is also not a native English speaker. But here we go.
Oh, yeah.
F. Hanks, or something like that, says, hate this game. We bought it without ever been played regular Pandemic. So we discovered don't like Pandemic at all. With the legacy aspect, it become worst. Have to play a game that you don't like for a huge campaign? Not a good idea. The game is too simple and easy for my taste for cooperative games. Also, as a legacy thing, I can't even resell it. Maybe I burn it.
Just burn it.
Maybe. I mean, some people. There's
Not
been
worth it, just
videos.
burn it.
There's been videos of people burning
Really?
these games.
Like,
Legacy games.
why don't they just throw it away? They have to burn it? Like, it's that bad?
Well, there's something to be said for the gravitas of the drama.
That's true.
There's
Yeah.
no theater in throwing it away.
Yeah. Maybe they
But-
need, like, some fire starter or something.
That was a beat down.
So
Right?
that game got some
There's some
beat.
good
Yeah,
ones in
Pandemic
there.
needed to get put back in its
Oh
place.
man, I knew when I picked this game, I was like, "There's going to
Yeah.
be."
Just so you know,
Yeah.
not everyone likes Pandemic Legacy.
Well,
Season
it's a
1.
polarizing system. So, Pandemic Legacy was the most popular Legacy game. So, Risk Legacy was the first, right? But that didn't ascend the rankings. Pandemic Legacy reached and dethroned the previous #1 Twilight Struggle, which held the spot for years, and that's a card-driven war game kind of thing, right? So when this took over, the people on Board Game Geek, a lot of them were, they were not happy with it. So as you saw
Yeah.
in this savage beatdown that Pandemic Legacy just received. Thank you, Natalie. That was
You're welcome.
fantastic.
I like
Well
this segment.
done.
I think they're really funny.
Yeah. Hopefully people listening like it.
I know, I hope
we'll
they
see.
Yeah.
do too.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
It's funny because they're massively well liked games. So to hear, we're not. It doesn't feel like we're being mean to the game because we know that most of the
Yeah, this
world
isn't going to do
loves it.
anything to the game's
Yeah.
No.
popularity.
And
But
again,
it's just really funny.
these people are rating it a 1. Like,
Worst.
the worst game ever.
The
You're
worst-
saying this.
The worst game ever. I cannot recommend it for my friends.
Bad.
Bad. I don't know about you guys, but that Kraken be tripping.
Ripping. That's great.
We got to put him right in his murder cast.
I feel like I need to make a way better name on Board Game Geek.
The Nangi 85. Okay, so you guys, it's been a while since we have played a game on the show.
True.
I don't know.
know.
Have we
I
played?
missed
We
the
have
game.
played a game with
Yeah.
I played a couple with Jack.
Yeah, I
Maybe a
did the
couple.
trivia once, and then we did the first letter, last letter.
I felt as
But it's been a
though
while.
we've gotten a bit deep and emotional in the last few episodes, which has been great, but it's been heavy. So let's lighten the load just a little bit here and play a game. There's a user on Instagram who Jeff and I interact with quite frequently called Bad Board Game Covers. Shout out to Bad Board Game Covers. Very, very fun, an awesome account. He does this fun thing where he takes a game box and filters it through decreasing levels of pixelation. Okay? Your job is to guess the game. You get the most points or stars if you guess it with the most pixelation, and you get less points the clearer the image gets. Okay? So I thought we could translate that into a game for the show. I'm calling this game Who Am I? Okay. This will be from the perspective of the game itself. What you two are trying to do is correctly identify the game I'm talking about before the other player. Depending on when you guess the name of the game, will determine how many points you receive. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've come up with 10 games. We have one bell in the middle that Natalie and Jeff are really eager to strike. Each of them have 5 sentences. Each of these games have 5 sentences that get more specific about what the game is. Okay. What I'll do is I'll read the sentences one at a time, from least specific to most specific. Okay. And if you think you know the name of the game, just ring the bell. Let's hear the bell ring. Perfect. Ring the bell. Wait for me to call your name. Once I call your name, guess the game. Okay. The thing is, if you guess incorrectly, you're out from guessing. You can only guess once. So if I just
Okay,
say something,
yeah.
you just ring the bell and just go Lagrange, and you're based on nothing.
Yeah.
Just to try to get those points. You're out, and then the other person gets to get the rest of the clues. So you better be sure. But if you guess correct, you'll earn the number of points that, based on the one you got. You'll get 5 points if you guess correctly after the first sentence, all the way down to 1 point if you guess correctly on the 5th. Make sense? Most points at the end of the game will win. So are
you tracking the
we
points?
ready? Yeah, I'm tracking points here on my computer.
Oh, boy.
Oh boy.
Are you ready?
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. All right. Game number 1.
Okay.
I am a Euro-style game, more than 10 years old. I'm considered the granddaddy of a certain popular mechanism. I require my subjects to build me a castle. I admit my box cover looks a tad grumpy. So it's had multiple... Okay, Natalie? was it Natalie?
Yeah, it was Natalie.
Okay. Natalie, what do you think?
Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Okay.
Wait. Can I guess now at 2
You can
points?
guess at the same points, yes.
I'm going to say Kalis.
Kalis.
Oh,
Okay.
I don't know anything.
It was
about that
Kalis.
game.
So,
I thought about Kalis on the one before, and I was like, let me wait.
Yeah.
The Grumpy cover.
I've heard the name,
here was
but
the
I don't
last.
know what the game
Here was the
is.
last one. The last clue was, I know less about sports than Skip Bayless.
Okay.
Okay, I probably would have got on that one.
Yeah, okay.
But only that one.
All right, so that's 2 points for Jeff
All right.
for the first one. Okay,
Cool.
So I have it written down here. Okay, here we go. Next one. You ready?
Yeah.
I'm a Euro-style game that uses dice. I play very well at 2 players. Ooh, Jeff.
Now I'm going to say Castles Burgundy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Castle of Burgundy. Were you going to say that too?
Yeah.
Oh man, Jeff's out to a hot start. You want to hear the rest of the clues, or should we just go on?
I don't know, quick.
Oh.
Yeah, same quick.
Okay. My designer is surprised that I'm his most popular game. We learned that from Joe.
Yep.
My components leave something to be desired, and my designer designs games coined as point salads. That was
Yep.
You knew
easy
it
one,
too?
yeah.
Did Jeff
I knew it.
Jeff just beat you to the buzzer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like 2 seconds behind.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
All right.
Number 3. I was likely designed before the terms Euro and Ameritrash were coined. My playtime can be anywhere from like 1 hour to like 4 hours. I have many expansions that make me almost infinitely replayable. Natalie.
Mansions of Madness?
No. Oh. Do you want to guess on that one, or should we keep going?
No.
It's a madness. You're adorable.
What?
That was not designed before Euro and Ameritrash were
It
coined.
wasn't?
No, that's okay.
Well, I just know that it
Well-
was like there was an older version, and this is like the second.
If you would have waited
edition.
one more, you would have heard that I'm set in outer space. And the final clue, you can win me alone or with someone else.
Oh, Cosmic Encounters.
Yes, Cosmic Encounter.
Oh.
All right, Jeff's off to a hot start.
Yep.
7-0, but that's okay. You get a couple 5s and you're winning. All right. Game number 4. I'm a party game that you cannot play just once. When you first hear my rules, you think, no, this is going to be stupid. And it is stupid. I am stupid, I should say.
Because you're the game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You'll all be standing when you play me.
Happy
Natalie.
Sam?
Happy
Happy
Sam!
Sam.
I was like,
That's
I
a good
thought
one.
that earlier, but I was like, I don't want to guess it wrong.
You did, yeah. The other clues were, try not to scream out something when it's over. I dare you.
Yeah.
Right? When it's
Yeah.
over, you're like, ah! And the last one is, you might get hurt depending on how hard your teammates slap.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so now it's 7-3. So
Ooh,
see, you're right
see?
in this.
Come back.
You get it on number 4, and you tied it up. All right, here we are. Number 5. I'm as Ameritrash as it gets. I've recently gotten a new edition. My original box was big. My new box is huge. Ryan loves me. I am asymmetrical and only play 2 players. Natalie.
Claustrophobia.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I was like, oh. Oh, boy.
All
I
right.
was like, I can't
Yep.
tell if he's being nice or if he doesn't know either.
I didn't know that one.
You're crawling back into this. It's 7-4. You're crawling back in. All right, here we are. Number 6. I am a very unique game in both theme and mechanisms. My setting and theme are rooted in reality. So, unique and real. You build me up, but I'm still 2-dimensional. My theme is technically a sport.
Castel?
Oh, good one.
And then the last clue was, it's people!
Good one.
All right, it's 7-6.
How many are left?
See?
There is 4 left.
Okay.
So it's anyone's
plenty of time.
game. All right. All right. Here we go. I'm a game capitalizing on a very thrilling genre at the moment. I wasn't the first in the genre, but I'm possibly the flashiest. I came out right around the time as another more realistic one. Jeff.
I'm going to say Chronicles of Crime.
Chronicles of Crime.
Oh, nice.
Nailed it.
All right.
Yeah.
Which would be
I
Detective,
was
would
far
be
from getting
the
that.
other.
Detective.
Yeah.
I feel like you had it on the 4th one.
I did.
Because I saw
and
you
I was like, let me
It's funny. I read it, and he was like,
get my hand
me
ready.
perking up like,
Yeah.
oh boy. So the next one was optically there's no mystery as how great I am.
Yeah. Ooh,
and then
nice.
the final clue was it's not Narnia, it's crime.
Nice. Chronicles
Oh,
of Narnia.
Chronicles. What? Of Narnia.
Yeah, the crime. What coals of crime? Okay. So Jeff has 10 now, and Natalie has 6, I think. All right, here we go. Number 7. Oh boy. I'm a unique dexterity game. I'm a this meets that kind of a game. I primarily use Jeff. I didn't even.
I'm going to say flip ships.
Yeah, boy.
Oh.
Yeah, boy.
I think it's
flip
like
ships.
Space Invaders
Yep.
meets something,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
like,
Flip cup.
yeah, flip
Yep.
I
cup.
thought
all
flip
right.
ships, and then I was like, what the heck does this mean that?
Yeah, well, my third one was I primarily use cards, save for the dexterity component. The last one is we're on a team to save the world.
Yep.
And then the final clue is it can be difficult to tell which side of my box is upside down.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's cool art. That's cool artwork
Yeah,
on
it's
that one.
what a cool box. Okay, Jeff's starting to run away with it, Natalie. You got 2 left. Come on, get these. All right.
Pressure's on.
Number 9. I'm a game rooted in deduction. I can see you, but you can't see me.
Code 777.
I'm sorry, I can see you, but I can't see me. I'm sorry. No.
Damn it.
All right, Jeff. We need to work together if we're going to succeed. I'm an award-winning game. Light up the night sky with explosives when you figure me out.
Oh, Hanabi?
Yep.
Okay.
All right, you got a point there. Let's see. I don't know if Natalie can mathematically come back here at this point. So Jeff has 2, 6, 7,
7. That was a good get. That fit those
It
two.
fit those.
8,
Yeah.
12,
I thought he was doing more
15.
relevant games.
Yeah.
Hanabi's not relevant?
Hanabi irrelevant.
When's the last time you played Hanabi?
Oh, you mean relevant to you.
Well, like relevant, just like
So Jeff has like
to us.
15. Natalie has 3, 4, 5, 6. So in a final double points
Yeah,
round,
why not?
Oh, no.
these will be worth 10, 8, 6, 4, and 2. Okay, here we go. Number 10. I'm a light to midweight game from a wonderful publisher. I work in rows and columns. Some of my components are translucent. Good God, Lemon, that's your worst quadrant. My city building theme is great fun to play.
Copenhagen? I'm not good at this.
Jeff knows it, I think.
Is it Quadropolis?
It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Quadropolis.
yeah.
Where's Quadrant?
Quadrant.
Good God, Lemon.
Yeah, so the first clue was I'm a light to midweight game
I
from a
honestly-
wonderful
Yeah.
Days of Wonder publisher.
I don't know that.
I worked in rows
Don't
and
remember
columns.
that
Right, rows and columns.
they're translucent.
Yeah, all the meeples and every component
Yeah.
is translucent.
Yeah, I haven't played that in years.
It's been a long time. It's
a good one.
Jeff, you have reigned supreme, victorious
Yay.
in our Who
Go,
Am I
Jeff.
board gaming game. You win 16-6. It was you were like creeping back
I know.
up.
I
know,
thought I was
it
having a
was-
comeback.
7-6. I was like, yes, this is great. And then Jeff, Jeff Nye, the science guy.
Well, if you would have waited on like one more, you probably got flip ships,
Yeah.
or you would have got the other one. Yeah,
You said
there was
you
one
thought-
more.
You should have just rang it because you were like, I thought flip ships, but I wasn't sure what this was. You should have just boom.
Well, I got it wrong every other time. I rang it.
Fair enough.
I rang it before Jeff most times. I was just wrong.
Yeah,
Oh, Mansion of Madness. That's cute. That's
Hey,
that was fun.
why is that cute?
What, did you guys like that game?
is that cute?
Did you like
Yeah.
that game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
Awesome. That was inspired by bad board game covers.
Yeah.
So thanks for that, bad board game covers. So for our top 5 this episode, we thought we'd give what we think are our top 5 gateway games. All right, back when I was first getting into the hobby, it was Carcassonne, Catan, and Ticket to Ride. Those 3 were responsible for getting so many gamers into the hobby, and I'm sure, and I mean, they still are, you know. Nowadays, these nons are being spoon-fed their games, as there are just so many different options to choose from. Which games are the best to spring-load someone into the hobby? Well, let us tell you once and for all, because here is the Gamecasters' top 5 gateway games.
Oh my god.
We'll see you on the flip. And we are back. All right, we are doing our top 5 gateway games here. This is the definitive list that the only list you'll ever need to consult when trying to get a new board game player into the hobby, unless you have something better.
Yeah.
Jeff, let's start with you.
Okay.
What is your number 5 gateway game that you think is best for getting people into the hobby?
Okay, I always have to preface something. I feel like before every top 5.
Yeah.
I excluded some games, so I thought of, all right, what games do I use to get people into the hobby? And I want to think like, all right, for how amazing Codenames is, how can I get people from Codenames to the next step?
Yeah.
So I left out a lot of games that I use right away with my students or with my friends. Like I left out some social deduction games and social games like Happy Salmon, Monikers, Team 3, Medium, Just One Strike are all amazing games, but I don't know if that gets people into
Right, they're not like gamer games.
the
They're like party
games.
games,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They're like party. I mean, they're still like gamer games, right? Because they're party games that people would never have played before.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that I don't know that someone plays just one and says, "I want to know about all the other games
Yeah.
out
Yeah,
there."
it's not a gateway game to the games that we play.
Right. So that also then left out some of the social deduction games like Chameleon, Insider, Detective Club, Two Rooms and a Boom. Those kind of games everyone will play, but does that get the interest in the next step? So my 5 are games I use to get people, including my students and my friends, into heavier-ish games, into the hobby more.
Absolutely.
I did the
So
same thing.
new year, new games, new gamers.
Love it.
My number 5 is an engine building game called Gizmos.
Yeah,
that's a
Gizmos,
good one.
perfect gateway game. Let's hear about
Yeah.
that one.
Gizmos it's you're building an engine of gizmos, shockingly, and it
Like little
it has
robots?
this little robots, and it has a very cool table presence. Also, there's this what looks like a gumball machine almost with this row of marbles that once you pick one, the next marble comes out.
Right.
And it has a lot of early mechanics for like, all right, engine building. So, if I do this, I'll be able to then pick this marble and then I'll get points if I do this. So it has an early mechanic of some basic engine building with a cool look. The art's kind of cool. And that's a game that I think gets people into, all right, what can I do beyond this? Like that was fun. What's next?
Yep, I think that's a perfect gateway style game. It's like one little half step up from Splendor. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And I think it's got the right amount of like, the components are really cool.
Yep.
Like it's got this marble. Like, what is this marble tray? Like, games have stuff like this that can be thinky. You know, it's not just a gimmick like Mousetrap, right? And then I'm building this engine up, and wow, now I'm having a really cool turn this turn. I got to activate 6 cards.
Yeah.
Like, that feels great. I got to
Yeah.
turn this color into this color, and now I can all of a sudden build this card. What? Like, that's so cool. I think that's a great choice.
Yeah.
Gizmos. Natalie, what about you? What about number 5?
My number 5 is Rise of Augustus.
Great one. That may appear later on someone else's list.
Which you could also then throw Ecos into that because for how similar those games
Gamer
are.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Right.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Love that one.
You want to tell us about
really
it?
have a
Or what?
preference.
Yeah, we can talk about it now, or we can talk about it when
We
it
can talk
might
about it
appear
later.
some later. It's up to you.
Go ahead.
All right, my number 5, then, if we're going to do that, is a little dice rolling game. And this is one that it was one of the first games I was introduced to in this dice rolling kind of, I don't know, genre is not the right word, but anyway, it's called Alia Iacta Est. All right, you can get it now. It's been reprinted and rebranded, and it's called Gilded Compass. And it's very, very light. And it's very, very, it's very fun. It's got a lot of concepts that you see in other bigger games, pattern building and stuff like that. And it's just really fun. You just take a handful of dice and you roll them, and then you decide, kind of Las Vegas style, where am I going to put these? It's got a little more meat on the bones than a Las Vegas, though, because each spot you put your dice, like, okay, this spot requires dice that are in a row, so I can play 3, 4, 5. And then you can only beat me if you play 4, 5, 6. Or 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then if at the end of the round, if I win that tile, nobody beats 3, 4, 5, I get a certain ability, or I get points, or I get money, or I get these tiles that will let me get more money. And it's very cool, and it's one of the only games I know that has a toilet. There's a latrine tile in this game. And so that's a really really fun game, and one a little more off the beaten track that I don't think people, maybe know too much of. And so it's called Alia Iacta Est. And I think, is that a Ravensburger? It's not.
I think it's
you would think it's
a
Alia. You would think it's Alia, but I don't think it's Alia. And honestly, I don't think it's in print. Actually, it might be, but like I said, the Gilded Compass, and I don't know who published that one either. But Gilded Compass is the same game that's come out more recently, and it just has more stuff in it. So that's my number 5, Alia Iacta Est.
Cool.
Good one.
Thank you.
My number 4. My number 4 is a game with a very cute panda called Takanoko.
Oh, sweet.
Good one.
You guys have played Takanoko,
Yep.
right?
I haven't played it.
Oh, I have.
And Takanoko is, again, it has some very early mechanics. It's like goal achieving. You have these cards, you have to fulfill these goals, and the goals are are related to the setup of the board or these little bamboo that you collect with the panda. And yes, it's got a lot of luck where you're picking, depending on what tile you flip or what card you pick up. But again, I feel like sometimes the luck helps new gamers.
Absolutely.
If I'm going to bring Kalis to the table, or if I'm going to bring even like Trajan or something to the table, I'm going to destroy someone who's never played it.
Right.
But in Takanoko or in Gizmo, someone can get the right cards and they can do well and then want to, again, play something else. The table presence of that is also very good. I think getting new gamers into the hobby, it needs to look appealing.
Your number 5 and number 4 both have that.
Yeah,
Table
like you could, you stack
Yes.
you stack the bamboos up. You move the farmer around and you move the panda. It's got a cute little panda. There's also this gigantic version that if I had unlimited money, I would buy.
Yep.
It's like a
$300
full size panda.
Right. It's like an actual panda.
Yeah.
Feed it bamboo and march it around.
So that's my number 4 is Takanoko.
That's a fantastic choice, man. Good one.
My number 4 is regular Azul.
Regular Azul.
regular Azul. Standard
Good old
Azul.
Vanilla regular
I
Azul
definitely
1.
used this a few years ago to introduce Frankie and Kyle.
Sure.
This wasn't the first game I played with them, but it was one of the early games I played with them.
Specifically for that purpose.
Yeah,
It's a
because I
gateway
felt
then.
like, this is pretty easy to understand. It's cute, it's
kids, try
fun,
this.
So
Want to play in this van?
Yeah.
I feel like it is a really good gateway game.
It's an amazing
Yep.
gateway game. Amazing. Good choice. My number 4, you heard about it before, Rise of Augustus. I've played this one a million times. That's a very gross exaggeration. I've played it a lot of times with a lot of people who are very new to the gaming world, and they all walk away loving it because it's a concept bingo that everyone knows,
Yep.
and to turn it into a board game is something that I think people are kind of like, what? Whoa, okay, if this is something, what else is out there? And so Elia Iacta Est before had this kind of like Yahtzee mechanism, which everybody knows about. Rise of Augustus has this bingo mechanism that everybody knows about. And it's light enough. It looks, so I think a good gateway game is a game that when you first look at it, you're kind of like, what? I don't, oh my gosh. And then you play it and you realize how simple it is.
Yeah.
How simple your turns are, how what you're actually doing, how you finally see like, oh, this makes sense to me. I'm not stupid. I can get this. And that's a big barrier for people that are playing board games. I think a lot of people, and I remember Natalie, you had this when I first got you into these games, where you were like, I'm afraid that I'm not going to know what I'm doing and I'm going to be stupid and then I'm going to feel stupid and then it's going to be a bad feeling. So I'm not going to play them. And that's just, it's a misnomer. It's a misnomer. Anybody can play these games.
Yeah.
Anybody.
Yeah.
I play games with my 8-year-old son, with my 6-year-old daughter. There's games out there for every level
Yes.
of gamer. And these gateway games anybody can play them. As long as you're old enough to understand, actual critical thinking concepts, you can get these. Rise of Augustus is an example of this, where it looks like, oh gosh, there's all these cards with crazy artwork and there's all these tokens and what do I do? And it's just bingo. And you're like, oh, I'm literally just putting this little Legionnaire guy on here, and then I get
when
to
it
say,
matches.
I get to say, oh, Ave Caesar when I like bingo, like that's just cool. And then they play it, and they're like, wow,
Yep.
I liked that. And a lot of times, it's easy for a non to win those
Yes.
kinds of games.
Yeah.
As Jeff talked about earlier, this random element in a gateway game can be a good thing because somebody who's never played Takanoko before plays it for the first time and wins, and they're like, I just beat you, and you're like the game guy. And that's a cool feeling to watch and see someone do that as they light up, and then they're like, I want to do another one now. And that's the whole point of this marijuana. Are we talking about marijuana? Oh, no, sorry. Gateway game.
Games, not drug. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my number 4, Rise of Augustus.
Yeah, and I agree. There's this idea that whenever you explain even these games that we know as being very simple, there's always the idea that when you explain it to someone who's new to gaming, a non, they're like, gosh, all these rules.
Yeah.
And all these rules.
It's intimidating.
And it was the same thing for us when we started of like, oh my gosh, this game has so many rules.
gotta learn another one.
And then there's a cool moment when you are playing with someone who's never played games before that they get it. Like they
Yeah.
don't have to ask you, what do I do next on my turn? Where they take their turn and you're like, yes.
Yeah.
Cool. That clicked. And you see that wasn't a ton of rules. So let's now then, how can we get from this to then the next step?
Absolutely.
And that's very cool. So
Love that.
I'll move on to my number 3. My number 3 is Azul.
Azul.
Nice.
And I would say now, in order of like gateway game, I would say the first Azul, the third Azul, and then the second. To play that in order of like
Yeah.
almost difficulty or complexity a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
The first Azul is great. Also amazing table presence. Easy. Again, it's a drafting mechanic. It's a cool mechanic that they've created where you're gonna see some drafting in other games that we play. And
Yep.
you can say things like, this game is like Gizmos. This
Yep.
game is like
Yeah.
Takenoko in this
Because
sense.
they're very popular mechanisms
Yeah.
that feature in other games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, that makes a great gateway game. Good choice, you guys.
Azul.
In the Azuls. Dang, wish I would have thought of those. All right. Natalie, what is your... No, wait, is it you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 3, are we on?
3.
Yes.
My number 3 is Patchwork.
Oh, yeah. That was
Yeah.
one of your first ones.
I love Patchwork.
Mm-hmm.
I have played it with my sister. I've even thought, like, I could play this with my grandma. Like, she would understand this and
sure.
probably enjoy it. And
Yep.
so I feel like anybody could play this.
And the theme would get
Anybody
her
would
into
like
it
it.
first.
She
This
loves
is about
quilts.
making a quilt.
Right. And even people who, like, don't care about quilts when they play it, it's just like a fun little game.
I do not
care
care
about
about
quilts.
I don't care about quilts
Me
at all,
neither.
but the game's
Love
great.
that
Yeah.
game.
Right. I mean,
don't
it's
care
like
about
got like a Tetris-y feel, you know, fitting the pieces in, covering up your board. It's got cute little buttons.
Polyominoes.
Yeah.
Polyominoes.
Yeah, that.
Nice.
Thanks.
I don't know. That's definitely one of my top gateway games.
I asked Devin this question before I came here, and she said that Patchwork was one of her favorite games she played starting out.
That's a
Yes.
great gateway game for somebody like Jeff and Devin, for instance. Okay, Jeff's a gamer. Devin's not totally a non because she's been around us all for so many years now, but she was a non.
She was,
right?
yeah.
She was a non. So what a great Patrick is a fantastic game because it's 2-player only for a gamer to try to get his non-gamer or her non-gamer significant other into
Yes.
the hobby,
Yep.
right? Because it's like, let's play this 2-player game. It's not super stressful, you know,
Right.
but it's got you know, elements that you've seen before. You've seen polyominoes, you've seen Tetris. Everybody's played Tetris. You know, you get the concept of I got to put this piece and fit it into this board
Yeah.
in such a way that covers the most spaces. It's
Yes.
easy. It's simple.
Yeah.
But it's challenging, and it's got really cute components, and that's a fantastic pick.
Thanks.
That's a fantastic pick. My number 3 is a game with a bunch of little multicolored dice called Sagrada. This may or may not show up on someone else's
It may or may
list,
not.
so maybe we will talk about it in a few. Jeff, what's your number 2?
My number 2 that I have used to get people into the hobby is a game called Mysterium that I know is not loved by some people at this
It's
table,
all
but
good.
it's a
I
very
recognize that as
Yeah.
as a gateway game.
again, it kind of fits into this. The table presence is incredible. The artwork is amazing. And it also has this team building mechanic where someone, and I would suggest if you're going to choose Mysterium to get people into it, the person who has played games to be the ghost. You be the ghost, you hand out the cards and let the people who are getting into the hobby talk to each other and try to figure out, and you take these cool, you know, what are those ball things called? those vision balls or
vision,
something.
right.
You move those, like have them manipulate those pieces, and the game is great. It gets people talking. It's beautiful. So
What I think is your list is killing it right now. I think what a great thing with that game is I've done this. I've introduced so many people to games, and one common thing I've seen when there's somebody new and they come into a game group or a game night where there's a lot of not new people, and maybe they only know you, right? It's comforting for them to be able to, and pick on you is the wrong word, but it's comforting if they get to sit back and all the stuff goes on to you, right? So you're the ghost, and I'm the player that has to interpret your clue. It's comforting, I think, for a new player, a non, to be like, what is this you gave me? This isn't
Yeah.
right. Or if there's a game like Cash and Guns, where I'm just going to point my gun at you because I know you, and you know what I mean? And so it takes a lot of the pressure off. So I think that's a great point, having them not be the ghost, because if they're the ghost in their first play, that's a lot of pressure.
Yes.
And you're going to get a lot of backlash, you know, which a game like, you know, Codenames or Wavelength could even possibly have that kind of backlash, which you know might turn you off or turn you away. So I think that's a great point that you made there. Okay, awesome. Natalie, what is your number 2?
My number 2 is a game with some colorful dice called Sagrada.
oh, cute.
I heard of that one.
Yeah.
Why do you think that's a great gateway game? Because I have lots of thoughts.
You do?
Oh yeah, they're
Well,
all multicolored,
I
but they
think.
can't go next to each other.
Well, yeah. Besides, you know, the prettiness of the game, and you get to like roll these cute little dice. I think the rules are pretty simple. You know, the the board kind of tells you like what you can or can't do, and so that's pretty easy for people to understand. But it's got enough like weight to it that it feels like an actual game, you know, and
Exactly.
it requires
Yep.
some thinking and planning. And so I think it's a good game to play at the beginning stages of your
Yes, I think so
career.
too. Kind of like Azul. It's got these beautiful components, and you're just kind of fitting them. Like, it's so easy at the beginning. It's got these elements of drafting, right? You're drafting this dice, and you put it in. It's like so simple. It's like, okay, this dice is a 2. I put it on a spot that has a 2. Mm-hmm. That's all I can do. Cool. Oh, I have another 2. I can't put it next to that one. It's red. Oh, the 2 I took was red. Okay, I can't put it next to that one. Okay, that's pretty simple.
Right.
But then you have these cards out
Yeah.
there, and these cards add. To me, those cards are the perfect thing that you need for that game. If it was literally just that, I think it would be a little bit too simple.
Right.
You add these cards in, which can break the rules and change how you're doing something. You build yourself into a corner. Jeff talks about this all the time. You get late in the game and you're like, oh my god, now I don't have a spot for this die.
Yep.
Uh-oh. There's cards up there. If you've saved those little water droplet things, you can spend some. And if other people haven't bought them already, you can spend those and go to those cards that activate. Oh, cool. Now I can put this die over here and swap these 2 dice out. And there's different ways to score points in each game with cards. And then now the game's just being expanded like crazy because it is a very, very Floodgate has got a hit there, right, with that game.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
And it's one of those games where like it's a gateway game, but I would still play it anytime. You know,
too.
it's not like too like simple for me or anything
Sure.
like that. You know, like I still like it a lot. It's a good game.
I think it's almost in the perfect spot
Yeah.
for introductory, yet we could still play it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's got some like gamey mechanics in it too, where you're snake drafting this dice, and if you go first, you're like, oh my gosh, what dice do I need more than the other one? Because if I take this one now, I don't want to be stuck with these 3 yellow ones all of a sudden.
Right.
And you watch those dice get picked as you're going through, and you're like, oh my god, don't take the blue one, and you like freak out. But again, yeah, it starts so simple, and then that allows, I think, everyone to get the mechanics.
Yeah.
So you play the first
pick it
half,
up.
even maybe 75% of the game, where you kind of have some freedom on your board, and you're playing, and you're allowing these people who haven't played games before to experience this mechanic of, let me take this dice, put it here, okay, I get it, and then it gets harder and harder, and you're like, oh boy, I'm in this corner, I can't possibly put any of these dice there. Now, what are the cool tools I can use?
Yeah.
Am I getting the colors right to score points? The game's great.
Very fun. Every time I play it, there's a clear-cut winner, but the person in last place usually isn't scoring 1,000, like 0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it doesn't have this thing where at the end of the game someone's completely butthurt, which I think is also an important thing you need in a gateway game. If you play a gateway game with somebody and they just get obliterated, they're likely to not want to play anymore. But if you play a game like Sagrada, which is quick, Azul's quick, and they lose, I could still see them, kind of just being like, well, I did pretty well for my first. It was my first time,
Yep.
and they want to play more. So that's a great pick,
Great choice.
right?
Thank ya.
My number 2 is Any Azul.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yes, it
Well,
is
it's
on
different because I said regular Azul.
You said regular
You said
Azul.
regular Azul. So.
Just a regular Azul.
Any
but then
Azuls.
third, I said any of the Azuls. I shouldn't. I mean, I caveat.
no,
that
you're
I
right.
have not played Stained Glass of Sintra.
True.
However,
You've heard enough.
I don't know this for a fact, but I'm gonna doubt that the second Stained Glass of Sintra Azul is not such a leap in complexity. That it's like this giant disparity.
It's not.
You're
right.
You're right.
So I will say Michael Kiesling has put out what I probably consider to be the gateway game of the current generation in games. I mean, it's a testament that it's on all 3 of our lists here.
Right.
So I think Azul has firmly planted itself as maybe the gateway game right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, and all 3 of them are well, I haven't played Stained Glass, but the first and the last are both so good to me. I would play any of those anytime, and I think either of those would be a fantastic game to show someone who's never played games before. For all the reasons that Jeff and Natalie mentioned. So that's my number 2. Jeff, what is your number 1? We are at number 1.
Number 1. My number 1 is a game with beautiful colored dice called Sagrada. So let's move on. No, I wanted to talk about it with you guys because that was good. No, that's awesome. That's how it should have been. That was perfect. Number 1, Sagrada For all the reasons that we just said.
That is fantastic.
Perfect.
Okay.
Natalie, what's your number one?
I thought that was going to be on your list too.
I know.
Yeah, no.
I was like, well, he didn't say anything when I said it's going to be on someone else.
I kind of wanted to just do that and be like,
yeah.
all right.
That was hilarious.
My number one is the gateway game that I had
I knew it.
Yeah, I figured
introduced
this
to
was
me
gonna be
by
on your
Ryan,
list,
which
yeah.
is Splendor. I also,
Yay.
I mean, we've used this many times at work game nights. People loved it. I played it with my sister and Kyle a long time ago. It was probably like one of the first games I ever played with them. And we always joke around that Frankie only likes games that she wins. And she like won this game and was on top of the world. And it was awesome because, you know, she clearly... I felt nervous that maybe, you know, she wouldn't get it, and she played it and she won, and she was like, this is amazing. You know, I love this game. I want to buy it. And it just felt really good. And I think that's one of those games that it's just like a classic gateway game.
It is.
Yeah, it will stay there.
I have a lot of memories surrounding Splendor. It was the first game I played with Natalie. It was also the first game I ever talked about with Jeremy.
Oh, yeah.
When I first met Jeremy, Splendor literally had just come out. And I met him. I don't know where we were. We were somewhere, and we were talking. And I was like, "Oh, I hear you're into board games." He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What have you been playing?" He's like, "I just bought this game called Splendor." I was like, "Oh, I've heard of that." And he's like, "Yeah, you know, it's one of those games you just want to keep playing over and over." And so I bought it, and you know, felt the same way. So you know, it has a significant moment with my with my friendship with Jeremy, with my relationship with you.
Yeah.
And you know, it's sitting over there in that cool Etsy case, wooden case box. Fantastic choice. Fantastic choice.
Thank you.
For your number one. My number one is going to surprise you guys.
Please don't. If you say Star Wars Destiny, I'm leaving.
I'm leaving.
It can't be Star Wars Destiny, right?
No
it can't
way.
be.
That's not.
You guys are going to be shocked, I think, when I tell you my number one.
What is it?
The Quacks of Quedlinburg.
No way.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's on.
Really?
When we talk about honorable
Gateway?
mentions,
Yeah.
it's on mine.
Here's why. We just played that with Frankie and Kyle.
That's true.
Kyle said that was his favorite game of all time. Right? We played it with, I think,
But they've been
Andrew.
playing
We played
games
that
for a
with
few
we played that with
years.
Andrew and Cheyenne. I think
That's true.
They loved it.
They did.
I thought about it to myself, and I was like, "This is the perfect game to play with a non. It's perfect because this push your luck mechanism exists in light games." Right? Can't Stop has it. Ink and
Yeah,
Gold has it.
that's true.
Those are games I probably would say, to Jeff's point earlier, are a little bit on the party style, too light that you wouldn't, right? Quacks of Quedlinburg adds this market to it that is so simple. It's not a hard concept to grasp. It is not a difficult, complex game to understand, but it is just inherently fun. It's
Yeah.
just fun.
So fun.
And I think about that, and I'm like, I think if there was a new person that came over, I think that would be the game I reach for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would be
That's
like,
awesome.
I don't blame you because it's
Yeah.
it was on. It has a little tick mark next to it on my
Yeah.
list because it was the one that like just missed, and I really don't know why it just missed because I was thinking about like mostly playing with my students
Yeah,
and like
sure.
Yeah.
gaming with them, but you're right. It's incredible,
amazing.
and
Well, now that you're saying that, you're right. I mean, all you're really doing is like picking pieces out of a bag.
yeah, and all you have to
placing
do
them,
is just
and
look
then-
at the number. Okay.
And
I
then,
can still
like,
go.
the only thing you're really doing on your own is picking pieces out of the bag and then choosing what to buy. But other than that, anything else that could possibly be more complex, you know, someone like you who's kind of like running the game goes through all like the end of round, you know, steps. You know, they don't have to like remember it or feel like they need to know all these things.
There's no like
Yep.
long-term strategy you really have to grok.
Yeah.
It's easy. You're just like, I want to get points from these orange ones, so I'm going to buy more red ones,
Right.
or
Yeah.
vice versa, right? You know
Right.
what I mean? And then you add the geek up bits to it, and now you have this like tactile feel. Everyone loves tactile feelings in games. You know what I mean? So you're just starting out. You get to reach into this bag and clickety clack all these tokens, and you're like, oh,
Get the-
God, I
get the
wanna
geek
pull
bits.
the white one. Yeah, get the geek up bits,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, I did. Oh
Yeah.
man! And so there's these big rushes and swings of emotion, which is what I think bridges the gap between party game and gateway game. Is, you know, this perfect gateway game still has this emotional swing to it, right? Quacks has this like big emotional drive
Yeah.
that you usually see in like a party game that these people are probably used to. So I think the way that they feel about this game, it will feel familiar to them that they felt with other party games. And then they'll also be like, wow, a game was built around this. I want what's next. So that's my number one.
great.
Awesome.
The Quacks of Quedlinburg. Let's talk about some honorable mentions. Jeff, what do you
yeah.
got for
I
honorable
saw.
mentions?
I just glanced over and saw Wingspan on Jeff's, and
on mine, too.
As
Yeah.
soon as I saw that, I was like, I can't believe none of us put
So
that.
It's on mine. It's
So
number
here's
7.
Oh, really?
the idea that I don't want to ever discard Carcassonne and Ticket to Ride and Catan, because they did something for gaming that I think maybe a lot of these games want to do.
Yeah, for years.
And for those of you who got into the hobby with that, those games are great. But I think there's a lot more games out that do the same thing
that have come out since.
And I always think of like, if someone comes over who is a non, what am I going to grab? I'm not going to grab Carcassonne. I'm just not, because I don't know if that's going to grab their attention or not.
Dated now.
So honorable mentions I had, and I think there's some newer games I think that will eventually get there, like Wingspan.
Yep, that's on mine.
Like Quacks, that I think would get to that point. I have games like Love Letter, but I thought that might be a little too light. I thought of a bunch of quick, like small card games, The Mine, The Game, No Thanks. Those awesome games. Sure. Camel Up. I have a game called
Camel Up's a great one.
Camel Up was just missed. I have a game called Concept that is more of like a party game. Yep. Draftosaurus, I thought would be an easy one for like the drafting concepts. Hive Mind, King of Tokyo, Magic Maze, Reef, any unlock games, like those kind of,
all of these are fantastic.
Yeah.
These are all, that would be I could have seen any of those on your list.
Yeah. So those were my honorable mentions. What do you got?
I wrote down Blueprints.
Blueprints.
That's a good game.
Machikoro, New York, 1901. Saikatsu, and Colorado.
Those are good.
Colorado.
Missouri.
The lizardy one.
Yeah, those are really great. Those are great ones too.
Fantastic. Mine are Istanbul.
Yep.
Wingspan. Istanbul missed because I think it's just a touch too heavy. Just a touch.
I would agree. Because I like Castles of Burgundy as being... that's the next step.
Because I played that early, but I was like, is that though?
Mm-hmm. I could have seen you put that. But
once you've played the ones... once you've played the ones on our list, Istanbul would be like, all right, now I'm going to
go to Istanbul. Like Wingspan, Santorini, I think is a great one.
I was surprised that wasn't on your list.
Yeah, it was originally, and then I thought of these other ones. I was like, I want to put something... I wanted Aelia Iactus to be on there because I wanted something that people hear the same games over and over again. I was hoping to get something that maybe some listeners out there haven't heard of this one, and they might seek it out and use this one. And then If Wishes Were Fishes was another one.
Oh, that's great. Cool components to that
wankers.
One. Fun.
Yeah, the Wiggly Wankers. Right, exactly. All those sweet worms. Those are so good. So that is the Gamecasters definitive top 5 gateway games. You don't need any other list ever for gateway games. Listen to this. So I don't know. That's going to do it, gamers, for episode 32. We're going to be deep within the throes of Nerdfest during the next episode. You might not see anything from us during our normal release schedule, but who knows? You just may. There's a chance we might throw something together while we're there. Maybe.
Or earlier or after.
Or there's a chance we'll put something out, maybe a half episode beforehand or something just right after. We'll get some sort of content to you guys, so don't worry. But until next time, for Natalie and Jeff the Mad Board Gamer, I am Ryan, and you have been listening to The Gamecasters. Good night, everybody.